States and localities, Ohio voters deciding whether to enshrine abortion in the state constitution up to the moment of birth. Virginia's Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin hoping the state Senate will flip to GOP control, while Republicans keep their House majority in Virginia. There are gubernatorial contests today in Kentucky and Mississippi. The Republican National Committee wrapping up a campaign to convince GOP voters to cast their ballots early and not to shy away from voting by mail.
We've launched Bank California, Bank Wisconsin, Bank Ohio, and we're launching it in battleground states with key stakeholders and state-specific websites. RNC
Chair Ronna McDaniel talking with the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says his country will bear responsibility for Gaza's security once the war with Hamas is over.
This suggests that, as far as he's concerned, publicly at least, he wants to present Israel as still being there and being able to have some level of control over Gaza when the fighting ends. Now, whether or not that would be accepted by people inside Gaza is, of course, a completely different matter, because they would probably see Israeli troops coming in as some kind of reoccupation. Remember, Israeli troops left Gaza in 2005. So I think what has been an alternative proposed, certainly by the US, is that there would be some kind of joint Arab control, maybe over the Gaza Strip. All of this will be, of course, questions for the weeks and months ahead when the fighting finishes, but there is absolutely no sign of that happening.
The BBC's Mark Lone. The New York Post reports new emails show Homeland Security formed a Stanford University disinformation group that censored American speech before the 2020 election. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures down 84 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I'm Corey, and this is my story. I was going through some financial troubles paying off my credit cards. I was paying high interest rates, and it just wasn't getting any better. And I knew I had to do something. So my mom told me about Trinity, and so I decided to call. Trinity was able to do something that I couldn't. I'm paying off my debt. I'm saving thousands, and things are really looking up. I promise you guys, you will not regret it when you call Trinity, because it was such a relief and less stress in my life, and it was the best thing I could have done for myself, because once I called Trinity, they took care of me, and I felt such a relief, a weight off my shoulders. Trinity was great to work with. They wanted to help me. I love it.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
I'm Corey, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Witnesses report the mass slaughter of civilians in Darfur, Sudan.
Photos from the Sudanese village of Ardamata, close to the border with Chad, show bodies in the streets. Witnesses say these are ethnic killings, with the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, and Arab militias going house to house, rounding up members of the Masalid community. One senior UN official described the reports as sickening and said civilians were being massacred in areas recently captured by the RSF. This is all reminiscent of the bloodshed that took place across Darfur 2 decades ago. The United States called it a genocide as government-backed Arab fighters killed at least 300,000 people from black African communities.
The BBC's Will Ross. Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Germany's 16 state governors agreeing on a new, stricter measure in a bid to curb the large number of migrants coming into the country. The issue has become a huge political problem for the government and a hot-button topic in German society. News and analysis at townhall.com. 5 Republicans will take part in the third GOP presidential candidates debate.
The field of candidates on stage for the third GOP presidential debate will be the smallest yet. 5 hopefuls will participate in Wednesday night's debate at the Adrienne Arch Center for the Performing Arts of Miami-Dade County. To have qualified for the third debate, candidates needed at least 4% support in 2 national polls, or 4% in 1 national poll, as well as 2 polls from 4 of the early voting states, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina. The 5 are Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, and Tim Scott. Former President Trump is skipping the event once again. I'm Norman Hall.
Taxpayers will be able to digitally submit all kinds of tax documents and other communications to the IRS months earlier than originally planned. The agency 3 months ahead of schedule on going paperless. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to it. Hope your day is going well. It is election day.
Yep.
If you do not early vote, well, guess what? Today's your day.
That's right.
You can go and get her done. You can go and vote at any of the voting convenience centers throughout the county this morning.
And
get her done.
For the record, your employer is obligated to give you 1 hour to go vote.
1 hour?
1 full hour.
Oh. Nice.
So if you early voted, go have an hour to yourself. Just go kick back, Kick your feet up.
I'll be back in
Watch a video.
I'll be back in an hour. You got this.
I don't know if it works for like surgeons or like air traffic controllers, but I'm pretty sure all the rest of us get it done.
Even if your hand is stuck in a Pringles can.
That's true.
Go and vote. Just when you did the surgeons and everything, all you did was the Pringles commercial.
There's a Bo Burnham bit where he talks about he can't fit his hand inside of a Pringles can, but he does it like this, like Kanye West style music singing thing. He goes, I want to have a daughter, so I finally have someone whose hand can fit inside of a Pringles can. Yes, I'm still on the Pringles thing.
Well, there's a Pringles embrace that now, and they do commercials, and it says it happens to everyone, even doctors, lawyers, bowlers, and they're showing them trying it with the can stuck on their hands. So,
well, they're aware of the problem now. Now they're just they're picking on us, is what it is. You could make the diameter of your can slightly wider.
Yes,
you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Pringles.
but then they have to make bigger chips.
Slightly.
Yeah,
only slightly.
That's not the world we live in. Nothing gets slightly bigger anymore. Go slightly smaller.
I know. Shrinkflation. Doggone it.
But happy Tuesday. And good luck with your Pringles. But hope your Tuesday's going well. Go out and vote. If you did not vote early, it is your responsibility.
Civic duty.
Get out there and vote. Don't forget, City is giving rides. If you go to the city's website.
They're tilt-a-whirl rides.
Yes. To the polling places. I don't think they're going to be. You can't get in there and be like, all right, hit me to Target, then Walmart, and then I need to get gas, and then we'll go vote.
I got some errands, all right?
Hey, I got to pick up a book. But they'll take you to the polling location near you. So, but get out there and do that today. Don't forget, it is a busy week. We got Veterans Day coming up here. Saturday, officially Veterans Day. The Veterans Day citywide celebration will be happening Saturday morning. Of course, the high schools have theirs, and the various schools. I know Goddard's. Matter of fact, we're going to try to work in an interview we had with Hayden Hill later on in the show today, talking about Goddard's Veterans Day celebration, which
15th year they've been doing that.
Thursday.
That's crazy.
It is, and they go all out.
I thought I turned you off.
Someone's got a lot to say.
I swear, I thought I turned it off right before the friggin'...
I didn't turn mine off either because I just got a dingle myself.
It's off now.
I did.
Quiet you.
Yes. There you go. So I got a note thanking. Hey, don't forget, when you do vote, you do have important decisions to make.
That's right.
All of you will have a city councilor to vote on. Some of you will have a school board member to vote on. And all of you will also have some capital outlay and some other school stuff, bond issues, things to vote on. So important decisions are made a part of this, even though you don't vote for a president or a mayor or someone like that in this election.
In fact, my
people
daughter's
that make way more decisions on your day-to-day stuff will be voted on today.
My daughter's school sends, they send texts every day, or every now and again, it's like, hey, attention, minority families, tomorrow is such and such day. Got this one yesterday. Just a reminder, tomorrow is the bond election. Thank you and have a great evening.
There you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Get out there.
Well, schools need this stuff to educate your kids. They got to have the facility and all of that to do that. So you need to vote yes on those. That's what
Your booger heads are very expensive.
School board, they're not allowed to tell you to vote for it. So you should. That's my opinion. It's a good one. Yes, elections today. We do have a full slate. Matter of fact, this hour we're going to have City Councilor Christina Arnold join us. Also, Lorenzo with the wastewater treatment. I believe he's utilities director is his official title. And so yesterday I got a chance to visit the wastewater treatment plant. And I ain't gonna lie, it stinks. But
it's a real crap job.
But it's pretty fascinating, and it's not.
I imagine the whole facility, like even the front offices, have to have a bit of an odor.
Oh yeah, there's an odor everywhere, but it's not dirty. If that makes sense.
No, it totally does.
Like when you're standing out and seeing in the poo pools. Then it's a little gamey, but it kind of lingers in the nostrils a bit. But
didn't feel like going diving.
No. That was not. As a matter of fact, I'm like, how quick do you die if you fall in this thing?
Let's find out.
But it was pretty fascinating to see the process and to see how it's the facilities. Like, yes, there's the smell, but I don't know. You just sometimes I guess in your head you think there's going to be just like random piles of poo in places, and it's none of that's going around.
Toilet paper on the walls.
Right. But it was really cool. So we're going to talk about that this hour. Ted Smith with the Walker Aviation Museum is going to join us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Give us an update on what's going on at the museum. Good place to visit. If you haven't been there yet, shame on you. It's really cool.
And it smells so much better.
It smells way better in the wastewater treatment plant. See, that should be stinks in here. Well, at least it's not as bad as the wastewater. There's when there's pounds and pounds of it.
I know people go, that's the smell of money. No, that's not the smell of money.
It's like your worst stadium bathroom experience at some major league sport with the troughs and everything. That smell times like 1,000. In a much more pungent, compacted zone. Also, after we're going to also work in, like I mentioned earlier, in the 8 o'clock hour, Hayden Hill. He's with Goddard High. He's been doing, like you said, for 15 years now, been doing the Veterans Day Assembly at Goddard High School, and they go all out. And so Hayden dropped by yesterday. We had a little conversations. We're going to work that in the 8 o'clock hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, Lori Schatz will join us, talk about Desert Willow and their event coming up here, and a couple other events through Community Theater and Kiwanis and what have you. So
very good.
Should give us that update here about 9:15. Plus, we'll have all of our features that include the news. Is our guest here yet?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. They're all quiet. I hadn't heard them yet. So our guests are here, so we're going to talk all about that here in just a bit. Before we do any of that, though, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Very warm for the next couple of days, but we've got a big cool down on the way with a cold front heading in on Thursday. We'll be back in the 50s by then. For now, we'll stay in the upper 80s, sunshine through the day. Overnight will be clear with low to mid 50s, and then we're looking at mid 80s on Wednesday, gusty wind and mostly sunny skies. Cold front moves in on Wednesday night, showers in mid 50s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 47 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 52%. Winds currently out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Sunny and a high of 87 today. So another warm one. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 53 degrees and southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Free Wednesday, sunny. Another warm one, 84 for a high tomorrow. Winds will be out of the west 5 to 10 in the morning, 15 to 20 for tomorrow afternoon. those breezes will be bringing in cooler temps and things for Thursday. I'll get to that in just a second. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 47, still tomorrow night. West winds 10 to 20. And then for Thursday, there is a slight chance, 30% chance at some rain in the morning. And then mostly cloudy, 53 for a high on Thursday. So we're going to go from like mid-80s to mid-50s from Wednesday to Thursday. Northeast winds 10 to 15. 20% chance at some rain Thursday night. Cloudy with an overnight low of 40. Friday, partly cloudy, high of 56. So probably going to bundle up if you're going out to the Wool Bowl for Roswell's playoff game Friday night. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 39 Friday night. For your Veterans Day on Saturday, I told you it was going to get cooler. I warned you a week ago in the 80s. But when Veterans Day hits, it's always chilly that morning. Doesn't matter that it was 80s the days before. So we're going to, on Veterans Day, mostly sunny, 59 for a high. So, yes, bring your sweaters and jackets when you're going out for Veterans Day Saturday morning. And for Goddard's playoff game Saturday afternoon. Sunday, we're looking at mostly sunny and a high of 63, Monday 60. So enjoy your mid-80s for a couple more days. We're going to drop here Thursday is when it looks like it's all moving in. All right, 7:16, we're going to take we'll get you into your Roswell Livestock Report recap, quick break, and then Christina Arnold will join us, and we'll talk wastewater and poo on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings of Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 2,207 head of cattle sold on Monday on the steady to higher market with excellent buyer attendance. Compared to last week, stocker calves sold 10 to 20 higher, feeder cattle 5 to 10 higher, packer cows and bulls sold steady. 3 to 40 pound steers 307, 335, 3 to 400 pound heifers 273, 280, 4 to 500 pound steers 292, 307, 4 to 500 pound heifers 241, 273, 5 to 600 pound steers 260, 292, 5 to 600 pound heifers 225, 241, 700 pound steers 239, 260, 700 pound heifers 216, 225, 800 pound steers 230, 239, 800 pound heifers 206, 216, packer cows 94, 104, canner and cutter cows 80 to 90, packer bulls 108, 118, feeder bulls 85 to 95, top half the cow calf pairs $1,400 to $1,660 per pair. Top half the bred cows $1,300 to $1,485 per head. We do appreciate the business. We'll talk to you next Monday morning. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Hey neighbors, there's a new source for all your appliance needs in the area. We're Roswell Appliance Outlet. We sell new minor scratch and dent appliances and we'll help you save 40 to 60% off of MSRP. All come with warranty and personalized service. We also offer parts and service for your existing household appliances. We offer financing and delivery options as well. Don't make that big box store mistake. Come see us at Roswell Appliance Outlet today at 600 South Main in Roswell or call 575-363-9236.
Our lives run on energy every day. And every day, your friends and neighbors at New Mexico Gas Company safely deliver reliable, affordable, essential energy to New Mexicans. The kind of energy that brings families together, that surrounds us in comfort. The energy that warms homes and hearts. We're New Mexico Gas Company, and every day we deliver the energy that's behind some of the warmest moments in your life. That's why we're here.
Vote Joe Green for Roswell City Council, Ward 4 this Tuesday. Joe Green was born and raised in Roswell, New Mexico, and has over 27 years of professional experience as a successful small business owner. A graduate of Roswell High School, Joe Green married his wife Suki over 29 years ago, and together raised 3 children. Joe will work to unite the community to improve the well-being of the citizens of Roswell and Chavez County. The New Mexico Foundation of Labor, AFL-CIO, and Utility Workers Union of America support Joe Green. Sheriff Mike Harrington says, after talking with Joe Green about his desire to serve, I support him. Roswell Professional Firefighters Local 1249 IAFF endorsed Joe Green, saying we believe in his commitment and leadership ability for the city of Roswell.
Hey Roswell, I can assure you I will do my best to work hard as your city councilor. Vote for me, Joe Green, this Tuesday. I approve this message.
Ad paid for by the committee to elect Joe Green, Brianna Dowdy, treasurer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact.
turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, City Councilor representing Ward 1, Christina Arnold, back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm really good.
Good deal.
I always laugh because right before you go into it, you have this great joke, and it makes me smile, so I love it.
Some are better than others.
Yeah,
you know.
well, I do it in the car, too, so when I'm listening.
Some of them are good. Some are thinkers.
Yes, I ponder for a minute sometimes.
They're all kind of a bit of my warped sense of humor.
Did you write them all?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I write all those.
I didn't know that, so I love that now.
Yeah, every once in a while, I need to get on the stick and write some more. But yeah, I write all. If you hear all the stupid, quirky, witty things that are, or lack thereof witty, they're coming out of my head.
Okay, I was actually wondering where those were from. So now every time I'm going to go, oh wow, something's up with him.
Those come out of my head.
Yes.
Yeah, I get one of those days. But Christina and I, actually, Christina, she went back for a second time. So we did get an opportunity to tour the wastewater treatment facility here in Roswell yesterday. And unfortunately, we were going to have Lorenzo with us, utilities director here, but you know, he's got utilities to take care of.
There must have been some serious like poo emergency or something.
Exactly. So he's not going to be able to join us today, but we kind of just want to, talk a little bit about what we saw, and I don't think people realize the magnitude of what's going on out there with some of the the amount of stuff that comes in and how it handles it and does it. It's pretty impressive to see. Yes, it does smell out of the wastewater treatment.
No, let's just flat out call it. It stunk.
Yeah, you can't avoid that one.
No.
But here's the thing that didn't surprise me. Like you go to Artesia, and you get the wind blowing, and like the whole town smells like the oil refinery in some way or shape or form, depending on which way the wind's blowing. They like, oh, that's the smell of money. It does relegate to that area to like once you're on the plant, like driving up to it.
You didn't.
Now, granted, it's out like you can't go much further on College anymore without hitting. It's at the end of the road there.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's not exactly in a populated area, but even when you drive up on it, you're not like, getting close. I can tell because I can smell it. You really don't.
You don't smell it.
Notice
you actually
it
get
until
up to
you're
the tanks.
in the facility and start walking around like, oh, there it is.
Well, and it's really interesting because the plant is actually located in what I consider a very pretty valley.
It is.
And so that, I actually found it peaceful to drive through there because most of the time, most of us don't go out into that area. But it's really beautiful with lots of trees. And I didn't smell anything. And I don't know that the residents really smell it unless there's a really strong wind, kind of like when they fertilize, the fields with the cow manure. And for 2 days, that's what we smell.
But then it's everywhere. What are you going to do? But but like you said, I think really that area is very pretty because of that wastewater treatment plant.
I think so too.
Because basically all the poo and all the wastewater
and the nitrates and all that stuff that's released. Yes. And it has to seep out in some form or manner because it's all beautiful, all green and everything.
But they kind of take it there and then and they basically convert it to potable water that they can use to water crops. And you can't drink it. You're not going to, but for industrial use, for agricultural purposes, they can use that water. And I think that's part of the reason why it's so green. I mean, it's a little brown out because it's Bermuda grass, but I mean, it's kind of lush in that area. And I think it's just because there's so much potable water and obviously the farmers and ranchers that are in that area, they get direct use of some of that potable water. And so it kind of makes sense once you understand what they're doing there, why it's so lush, that area.
Well, yeah, and the first time that I actually went to see it, it was right after I was first elected, and I think it was in April. It was probably May, and it was all green, and it kind of reminded me, like I told you, the Sound of Music because of these rolling
frolicking
green hills.
In the hills.
And, I do have to commend the wastewater treatment plant, the employees there, because it is actually extremely clean.
It is.
It is very well manicured. I was so surprised initially.
It's kind of like a golf course a little
Right.
bit.
With these cement towers and these cement buildings, and that whole process of when it comes in, what do they call those? The poop fields?
Yeah,
they lay it out and dry it.
Yeah.
And luckily, the city council just recently voted to put in a new system in a new building.
Yeah.
It has a pretty price tag, but it's actually going to save a lot of time and effort instead of having to dry that.
Yeah, they're going to make it even more efficient.
Correct.
More,
yes.
And to be honest, this area is growing.
That's exactly what my
concern is. And it's got to
is.
meet you can't, when it comes to utility work, your wastewater, your electricity, water, the things that people need, roads, water, these are sewage. These are things that you have to set up before the growth happens.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you've got problems.
Well, and that's kind of what I find interesting is, when you need revenue and want to create ideas on how to bring revenue, the first thought should be infrastructure.
Absolutely.
So what do we do with the money we do have? It should be to create the infrastructure to bring in the revenue. Because if we're not thinking about expansion or not thinking about how, where are we at? Do we need to add more thought to actually how we're going to grow the wastewater, the infrastructure, our lines? I mean, and currently our lines are so outdated. We have so much to do, and that's why infrastructure is kind of at the top of my list as far as a first.
Well, and it's one of those things, and it's whether we're talking wastewater or pipes or roads
or sanitation
where, it's people only care when it's not working right.
Oh, absolutely. My favorite episode, if anyone's ever seen Monk, I don't know if have you ever seen it?
I remember Monk.
I love Monk. Okay, so it's season 5, episode 2. And that tells you how much I like Monk.
You're a big fan.
But it's basically when the San Francisco sanitation union stopped picking up trash.
Okay.
And the whole San Francisco is covered in trash. And it's just, you just don't actually, you can't think about that unless you see that. And so that's why you're exactly right.
Yeah.
If trash doesn't get picked up, we would notice.
Exactly. That's when people care. So having to stay, so this upgrade and everything they're doing out there, by the way, it looks pretty cool. They're doing a lot of work out there, but it really is an efficient, it's all science. They have a lab out there and, everything. It's kind of a little bit of everything out there. You know what it reminds me of when I walk around? Like if you're a Navy guy, like if you spent time in the Navy on ships and stuff, I feel like you'd feel a little bit at home at the wastewater treatment plant just because the pipes, like if you're walking around inside some of the buildings and seeing some of the gear and some of the equipment that's used to move the water around, it reminds me of inside a Navy ship. It really...
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Because of all the cement and how organized...
The pipes, the large pipes and the large... Like this is the facility that uses those crazy, silly, clown-sized large wrenches and everything. You know what I mean? Like those tools that you see on online, and you're like, wow, what they do with that thing? This is the place they use those things at, and it's just really, and like you said, the clean part, it's very clean, sterile. It's like going into like some of these places are. It's like walking into like a dairy or something. Like you see how the concrete floor and how it's very. The wastewater treatment plant looks a lot like that in some areas. Pipes are bigger and the equipment's a little different, but as far as the same standards and how they do that kind of stuff, it's right there.
And I think there was only because so just so the listeners know, there's I think 8 processes. I think that's what we did. So during the tour, they took us to the 8 different phases of what the waste
where it goes from the
through.
hardcore stuff coming in to potable water at the end.
Yeah, and so you get to actually see the science behind the breakdown of them turning it back into usable water, and it's just fascinating. So for me, there was only 2 areas that I felt were real smelly, but when they actually filter out because they start by separating the waste from the water,
right? The solid from the liquid, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's interesting because then some of that waste, they get it ready to become fertilizer. They get it ready to be resourced, and
by the way, it's junk and everything else. Like they filter out needles, all the crap that you flush down toilets.
Yeah.
they filter. That's like one of the first filters that catches
Yes.
that stuff, and then it kind of
That's that's like almost the first step is to get all the yucky out.
Pardon the pun, but the other stuff besides the crap you flush down the toilet. That's what I meant to say.
It's technically all crap,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. Yes, but it's really interesting to actually see because you see the poop side of it, the first filter, and then as you start to ascend down the hill, you start to see how the water becomes broken down, and
Absolutely.
that's the science that is fascinating to me because what was there like 3 or 4 retainer pools that held the water. Okay. And it was just so interesting because each one we would go to, you could see that it was starting to get clearer and clearer.
Like the first ones were really nasty,
yes.
but by the time we're getting to the end, you're almost like, hey, that looks like water.
Yeah. We actually were very lucky because I didn't see this the first time, but we actually there's this arm that goes around the tank and what is that word?
It's kind of like filters or,
It scrapes through and it goes real slow and it pulls the waste into this little deposit area. And we actually caught it because it goes so slow.
Yeah.
That I'd not seen that before. So
very methodical how it just kind of.
It's this little arm.
Yeah. And then it kind of like, and that's just like a filter as it filters out the crud throughout the water. And it kind of goes through several pools of that. Basically, and each time it gets filtered finer and finer. We also got a chance to see one of the tanks because they have one area where there's 2 of the big, and this was like midway through the process of the water here. One of the tanks because they have to drain the tanks every so often for maintenance, cleaning, and doing all that. And one of the tanks yesterday was down to where they were doing their work on it, and so we got to actually see
the little jets,
see it empty, and see like the boat propellers that it like on boats, but actually they're big ones like on bigger ships. Like they literally look like those propellers on that boat, and that's what they use to turn the water and to get everything going.
Well, and that was kind of shaped in a cement U, you know, and I kept thinking of a U-boat because that's how I saw it. I thought it was just really, and especially without the water, and I had not seen it without water in it. So seeing what they have to do to clean, what did they say? There was like 1,000 little heads they have to
scrub and maintain and repair and replace and all of that. And it's a lot of work in maintaining that facility. That it really is impressive to see, and it's a well-oiled machine, and it just works and it just goes. And then obviously they have to because when it rains or anytime we have weather, those ponds, they have to act accordingly because when you start filling up those ponds with rainwater, it kind of messes up the whole balance there. And so they've got to accommodate.
And even the poop pods. I mean, the big where they dry the poop, that's actually a really interesting area to see when it rains because can you imagine that flooding?
Yeah.
But another thing I found, we had a young man named Rick give us a tour. I think he was young, but he looked young.
He looked young to us. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true anymore. Everyone.
They're all younger, right? The older we get, the younger they are.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not sure how. Are you 12? Yeah. But
you gotta be careful because people get mad. And you're like, I'm complimenting you.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like that.
But he actually did a great job. But one of the things we learned from him was that they actually do a lot of their own maintenance. So they're trained to take care of a lot of this big equipment.
Yeah.
Which is when I'm sure you or I look at it, we're like, okay, now what do we do? Because it was so actually it was extensive and big, like you said, big old pipes and probably big wrenches.
Yeah, it's like plumbing on steroids, and it's like, I'm a plumber. It's like, yeah, but you deal with this.
I just like the fact that we weren't calling in for service, that our own men were capable of repairing and maintaining our equipment. And like you said, that open, empty pool kind of gave us a good example of what they have to do to maintain and keep those tanks running.
Yeah. And to be honest, because they're in-house and everything, they're probably the most qualified to work on it because they know the equipment, they know the parts, they probably know better than any other, entity around. So, but it is a fascinating thing. And if you ever do get a chance to take the tour, I highly recommend you do it. And it'll definitely make you appreciate some of the things that you take for granted in your home, like flushing
the things
a toilet.
You thought you knew.
Yeah.
Because that's like the microbes and the UV rays that they use to purify that water is actually a neat science.
Yeah. And also the kind of green recycling side of it, where at the end of the day, we're taking all of this wasted product and turning it into something that we can reuse here for the public. and you're talking about raising, talking about money needs and infrastructure and all that, you look at that and that's a form of income.
Yes.
When it comes to the potable water, we're taking something that no one wants and turning it into something people want.
Correct. Yeah.
When there's supply demand, that means there's money to be made there. And that's what we're, when we see these kind of things. And like you said earlier, getting in the business of this stuff, let's face it, most companies and things can't handle what they do out at the wastewater treatment plant. So it's like, well, they got the facilities, let's do it. And you know what I mean? It's
yes.
Like if you tried to create that on your own in a private it just wouldn't happen.
No.
Not without spending gazillions of dollars doing it.
You just stirred up my brain. I'm kind of like, is there any private waste management facility, like in the States?
Yeah.
That's something I would actually be interested to see if that's like an independent, something that could be an independent business.
Yeah, I know there's like garbage collection, but I don't know about wastewater
Yeah.
type stuff and all that. So.
Well, even in garbage collection, you just have these companies that actually run, but I believe that the site, the sanitation.
Yeah, they don't have their own landfills or nothing. It's coming to the city or state
and
run.
that's still managed. So yeah, I think there's definitely some aspects where private and public could mix.
Yeah.
But there, some of it's just something that only private or
Sure.
public
Well,
can do.
it takes certain things to happen to move the mountains to make these kind of things, and that's why governments are usually better equipped to do that kind of thing. So,
well, I've lived in Texas, and they actually do. I guess they have people compete for services as far as your trash pickup and your electricity. And it's a really interesting concept. The thing is I don't know that I completely like it more than a public ran.
Sure.
But I did find it interesting on the ability to have that competitive nature and for you to actually seek out a lower bid.
Always like that option.
Yeah.
And this is America. That's
Yeah.
how America works. You don't,
But the question is it more effective? And that's kind of where I love the idea of capitalism.
Sure.
And
and that's where's the line?
Yeah.
Where it's something that everybody needs, like services like electricity,
Right.
water,
Mhm.
internet starting to turn into that
Yes.
that utility now.
Yes.
We're kind of going that way. And so we kind of got to nail that one because at the same time, yes, as far as society to operate, we need all that. So the government has to get in there and do stipulations to allow, that's why, internet providers, things get perks because at the end of the day, they're doing a service for the community. And so it's like, look at COVID, Jeff Bezos and shipping and everything else, and how much money he made off COVID because of the services he quote unquote provided.
Yeah. To locked up people. Well, it's actually interesting. I'd heard a story the other day that that streets, for the city actually used to be, if we needed a road microsurfaced or repaved, that it actually used to be done in house. And this is like years and years ago. So I kind of thought that's really interesting. Do certain cities have a department that just completely does that?
Yeah.
Is that more cost effective? Those kind of things you think about.
Sure.
Because for me, while private industry is always more the way I lean,
Sure.
I still try
They can get it done faster.
Correct. And I try to actually be mindful of, okay, what does the government do better? And so, when you're looking at something like even ambulance services,
Sure.
would it be better for us to actually do that in-house and kind of like our fire department? Versus a private industry.
And that's the balance that government, because especially when you look at a town the size of Roswell, because we're right on that balance there. Obviously a bigger city like your major Dallases and all that, they have their own facilities because they have a demand and things that meet that. Where Roswell, we're kind of like we're a big town in a small town feel, and we're right at 50,000. We have amenities of a big town, but we're still a small town. So questions on like how much do we contract versus how much we do in-house, those debates get bigger and bigger in a town like this size, because whereas I feel like Dallas or New York or DC, they don't have those because of the size of what they are, but a town our size, we're like, we could go either way with that. A smaller town, obviously it's spending more money on those resources. They make the money by getting multiple towns, multiple people, entities to buy into it. So Roswell's in that unique position. It's like we could go either way with it, depending on if the deal's right. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why you guys as city councilors have to debate this stuff. But I would also argue too that because of we're a Mecca destination city,
yes,
as far as other rural communities come to us to meet their needs, we have to do a little bit more in-house ourselves because we are in an island, so to speak.
Yes.
We are that. So that's the balance. That's the, there's many variables into deciding, do we do it ourselves? Do we do it? And that's the real work.
At this very point, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea, the idea of growth, though, if you're creating a vision for a town,
then you got to have that in place,
right? But also that will attract. So let's say, let's just use Reno Air Races as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Should that come in, I believe the entrepreneurial fire will be set because people will start going, okay, they need this little bracket. So we're going to,
Right.
just for one, you start seeing that the services are out there, something you and I would never think of.
Sure.
But
it's a little like
it would, and that's what would bring in more different businesses and stuff.
I kind of look at it a little like the space race, and what I mean by that is like when Kennedy made his announcement,
yeah.
we will put a man on the moon by the end of the decade.
Yeah,
that kind of was dropping a gauntlet for the space people, saying you better get on the moon.
Right.
I feel like the Reno Air Race is saying, hey, we want you is going to do that. So, we got 2025 to get this stuff up and running.
No, that's exactly. I'm on that team with Mike Esprit too, and that is our first thought. As soon as we learn, there will be like a big, meeting about, okay, get your mind ready, get ready, think, create whatever you want, and and come and do business in Roswell.
Absolutely. So it's very interesting to see some of this stuff, and this is why I encourage you to come to city council meetings, come to some of the public meetings for the different, boards that meet between, our utilities boards, the cemetery. I mean, all of these, some of them are sexier than others, but all of them are vital and important to the running of this community. And as citizens, the John and Jane Q publics out there, this is how you get involved by making sure you vote today, or if you early voted, and then also come to some of these meetings. Here's somebody. Go to the city's website. Get on the calendar. See when they are. And
or
come
you
to some
can
of
watch
these meetings.
online
while
you're cooking
online.
dinner.
Exactly.
So because there's a lot to learn as far as things you may not know. But it is kind of interesting that if we are going to expand the waste treatment plant, even sanitation, all of it needs to be considered, and knowing where they're at so we can actually invest in them to expand, because the idea for the future is a growth for this community where the people of this community can prosper.
Absolutely. And it kind of makes sense too, is we're also in a time when it comes to infrastructure where we're at a turning point. It's by default with just the equipment and when they did this pipe work 75 years ago, and now we're down to that, we're hitting a time where we have to do these changes anyway, because the shelf life is on the equipment before.
Well,
and so what do we take it? What do we do with it next?
That's a good point. Exactly. Yeah. We are at the point to where it's time to look at the infrastructure that our forefathers built. And so when we're rebuilding it, do we build it just the same, or do we expand?
Sure.
No, because
to meet the needs of 100 years from now.
Well, to create the opportunity of growth. And that's one thing I found very fascinating about Hobbs. Everything that they build has the ability to be expanded. And that's very forward thinking.
Yeah. Well, in a town like Hobbs, and really Roswell, you need that.
Yes.
Because you've seen Hobbs. When it's good, it's really busy, and then when it's dead, it's really dead.
Even their
boomer
airport.
bust town.
Their airport is built to be able to be added onto. It's not blocked in. It's not
hamstringed onto a.
Yeah, and that I find that concept very forward thinking.
It's a novel concept, and you're like, why didn't everybody think of this sooner? But and that's really what we're trying to. We need to set the table, or at least people are trying to set the direction for us to do that kind of stuff. And we look at the assets we do have as a city, and we have amazing assets for a city of this size. But that airport alone is a huge deal. But just our facilities for wastewater and all of those things, to the landfill, to even getting into our jails and all of that side. A lot of towns like this size don't deal with all of those issues, and so the fact that we have it is great, but it also is a responsibility, and it's something we got to make sure that it's available and working the way it should 10, 20, 30, 50 years down the road. And what you're seeing at the wastewater treatment plant right now and this renovation, all that is moving in that direction.
Well, I do know that, Lorenzo, I've visited him with him many times, and I do know that he has things in the works to keep us expanding, to keep our systems updated. And, in watching him, I do have to commend, because that is a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
He is over, like you said, utilities. And you can see, the true measure of his work through how things are really running pretty smooth. So I do have to commend that whole utilities, water, all of them. They work really hard.
We're so thankful for our engineers and those types that do all that. And you know what, young folks, if you're looking to pursue the career of engineering, talk to the city. Maybe say, hey, I'd love to get a tour. If I'm pursuing I'm willing to bet, especially if you tell them you're pursuing engineering degrees and careers and like that, and you kind of want to see some of that stuff. I'm very sure reach out to your city councilor. Tell them, hey, I'm a young student. I'd love to do that. I guarantee
call me.
And any one of the other 9, I bet, would be willing to do the same for you.
I also want to, encourage people to consider working at the waste.
Absolutely.
Because that's one thing we did talk about when we were talking to Rick. Most people coming out there think, oh, I would never even, apply for that because it's poo.
Yeah.
But it was probably the most serene environment.
Yeah.
Because we sit out there and it was like a great place to meditate.
It's calm and quiet. Yeah, it's very, very chill.
Yeah,
it's very,
I was like, hey.
Yeah, it's like I said, if it wasn't for all the poo, it'd be like a country club out there.
That's exactly what you said. I could see the golf carts out there.
Yeah.
So that's why I think people, before you say no to a job out there, you may want to actually go look at it.
Not to mention it pays well.
It pays well.
Anytime you do jobs that people tend to not be into, they pay very good. Garbage men make good money. Just telling you.
Okay, I'm going to actually have to go. I've been working on making sure they make good money.
Yeah.
I think we could do better, but we will.
We'll work on that.
We'll work on it.
But that's the thing is, and that's just it. They're careers that you can go take that wherever you want to.
And you can grow in them.
You can grow in them. And I really, you see the staff and everybody that out. And that's the thing, too. The proof's in the pudding. You talk to the staff and they like, oh yeah, I've been here 7 years. I like it. It's been really happy.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would. And then I get here and I love it. And that's kind of the you hear from a lot of folks.
I actually hear that quite a bit.
Yeah, they do.
And they'll try in different spots. They'll start and then they'll do like, so I've been here for 5 years, but before this, I was at this for 7 years.
Absolutely.
And I like hearing that because they found an area or a niche that fits them.
Absolutely. And when you hear people saying, I've been here 10 years, 15 years, that's the biggest indicator I can tell you if that's a good place to work.
Correct.
When you when you see employees that have been there that long, and that says that they're making people happy, that they're not wanting to leave because they're in a good working situation.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of those there at many of the facilities in our city, including that wastewater treatment.
We actually pinned, did the I guess it was an employee service for pinning people for their, marking of their years. And so when you see that list of some of the people that have been here 30, 40 years, and, it was actually quite amazing to see that list was actually quite long, starting from a 5-year mark and 10 to 15 to 20. It's just amazing. And I do love that it is a place where people feel at home.
Absolutely.
To stay a long time.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a career, go to the city's website. I don't say all, but many departments are hiring right now. So.
It is funny how we switch from poo to jobs.
Yeah. Well, someone's got to do the job.
Both of them, right? You got to plug for the jobs too.
But it really is a pretty amazing dance what they do out there. And if you do get a chance, I highly recommend you check it out. It is worth it. You will be shocked and surprised at how the sausage is made, so to speak, here on some of that.
That's right. Yeah, that is the fun part. I actually like how the sausage.
I do
is made.
too. I've always been.
Yeah, we did talk about that because we prefer to watch like you said, pro wrestling.
Yeah.
We want to watch how the pro wrestling is made, not necessarily.
I'd rather watch how to make the thing than watch the thing.
Yes,
sometimes.
absolutely. And you could do documentaries on that, and I could watch those.
Yeah, I'm way into that.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I am.
I think there was a legislator, and I think it was Souls. I may be wrong. There's a state legislator who wrote a book on how the sausage is made up at in Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, that's probably a book everyone needs to read because
now you got me going. I thought I ordered that, so I need to check on that because I wanted to read it.
I didn't get it. I better check in with my guy here.
Well, sometimes I just forget. I'll do it and then I'll forget. So. Yeah. Well, we'll order that. But today's voting.
Yes, I was about to hit that before we go. It is election day. You can go to any of the convenience centers. The city is offering rides to polling places. I just saw the Helping Hands group. If you go on their Facebook page, if you take a picture of you voting, they've got an added incentive. They're giving away like a $50 gift card to some random person that proves that they voted today.
Oh, snap. I'll have to do that.
So take a picture of you or your I voted sticker or while you're voting and upload it to the Helping Hands Facebook, and you might win a gift card or something like that too. It's just a little added bonus I learned today here as well too.
I do want to add that because today is a voting day, next month I will bring in Amalia Martinez. Okay. Yes, our Roswell City Clerk. So and she can kind of, since this has been her first time at it because we just moved it back to where the city is, is doing part of it and that type of stuff. And so she can kind of talk about how it worked with the county.
I would really like her to explain the security side. I mean, not breaking down on how they do it, but to get people to understand. Yeah, get people to understand that whole process of, once you slide your piece of paper in that machine, what happens next? I would love to kind of get people an understanding on that.
I think a lot of people would know about that. But I've actually been part of the process where we've clear out the voter rolls. You start removing people that have passed or people that have moved, and that whole process was very, very clinical and very clean.
I've seen a little bit from the outside in on election nights and stuff, so I know too. And
most of their systems are set up to be very rigid.
Yeah.
So
I kind of wanted her to kind of explain that way. Just to because I've seen some of that where most people don't see that, where I've been in years past where I'm sitting at City Hall waiting as elections come in, the results come in, and the people from the different precincts are walking in, and just it's kind of a neat thing to watch. Again, how the sausage is made, sitting there on the side watching it. So.
Well, I will tell you that as I had worked as a voter, poll worker, and it can be a long day and very boring.
Yes. It's a hurry up and wait mindset.
All day long,
it's either 100 miles an hour or just waiting. That's right. Pretty much the day. So.
Well, thank you so much for having us
and thank you for inviting me out. Thank you for
I'm sure
that
Lynn Renzo is going to be very disappointed.
We'll get him in sometime.
Yeah.
There's plenty of poo to talk about.
There's plenty of poo.
Thank you, Christina. Yes. We'll see you next time. It is 7:53. Let's pause for news and a quick break. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Members of the Roswell Police Department SWAT team recently competed in the Texas Tactical Police Officers Association SWAT competition in Round Rock, Texas. The RPD team had an impressive showing, finishing 9th overall among 36 teams in the competition. The competition consisted of 8 events during the 4 days, with most events focusing on physical fitness, shooting skills, and team communication. Results of each event were based on a variety of factors, including teamwork and response times in accomplishing the presented situation or task. In a sign of the times, Artesia is bidding farewell to a small business downtown that's been around more than a half-century. The Daily Press reporting B&B Newsstand is closing. The business once posted the largest magazine and newspaper collection in the state and also boasted of having the best fountain drinks this side of the Pecos River. Owner Gayla Ivy says she plans to spend much more time with her 9 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren, traveling and tending to her garden. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
After years of warning about the dangers of TikTok and its communist Chinese owners, Israel's war may be TikTok's day of reckoning. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. TikTok is hosting a daily barrage of pro-terrorist hate and harassment aimed directly at Jews worldwide. In an open letter to TikTok's management published late last week, Jewish TikTok influencers, who have tens of millions of followers, say that they've been flooded by so much anti-Jewish anger and hate that many fear for their physical safety. So far, TikTok's response is exactly what you might expect: absolute silence. I've written and spoken about TikTok's communist Chinese owners many times. They are no friends to America or any other democracy. And for all the world to see, they've proven their total disregard for the safety of all Jews. Join over 500,000 folks who I help get tech smart daily at getkim.com. Dell's Black Friday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13 engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals, Dell.com/deals. Ghosting, defined as a friend not responding to a text, or worse, a lover. Or you just read someone's social media post, but you never hit follow. Don't be a ghoster. Wherever you hang out on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, go to my profile and follow me. My posts are the best. You're going to sound smarter. You're going to know the moment a data breach happens. So where you're laying in bed tonight scrolling through your social media, you'll find me everywhere at Kim Commando. Remember, it's not Kim Kardashian. It's me, the other, smaller Kim. That's Kim Commando.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Let's catch you up on some soccer because we've got a playoff game today going on in Roswell. It's the NMMI Colts, the second seed in Class 3A, taking on the third-seeded Robertson Cardinals from Las Vegas. Game time is at 3 o'clock. NMMI is 16-3 overall after defeating Hatch Valley Friday 4-0. Meanwhile, Friday was the last day of the season for both the Goddard boys and girls. The Goddard boys lost at Hope Christian in Albuquerque by a 3-1 count to finish 13-8-1 overall. Meanwhile, the Goddard girls were blown out, let's say it how it is, by Hope Christian 10-0. Goddard finishes 12-7-2. You got a big volleyball match tonight. Goddard hosting Artesia. Goddard 17-4, Artesia 17-3. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
Honey, read this. Seems Councilman Barry Foster didn't pay his water bill for over 2 years, owing almost $2,000.
How? They would have cut his water off.
State mandates the water service couldn't be cut during COVID.
This says the Fosters make around $150,000 a year, and they refuse to pay their water bill?
Since Barry Foster's been on city council, city debt has tripled. With rising crime, he voted against hiring 5 new police officers.
And the city delayed vital repairs to our drinking water system. Now, repair costs have skyrocketed.
It's time for a change.
Change by voting for Carlos Marujo.
He's a supervisor at Eastern New Mexico U. Carlos knows how inflation impacts Roswell's working families.
Carlos Marujo will demand Roswell live within its means. He respects taxpayers.
We can't afford 16 years of Councilman Barry Foster.
Our Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Our Values PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Fall time is almost here, and the holidays will be here before you know it. The Calico Cow invites you to move on into the cow and check out the new holiday fabrics arriving daily and take advantage of a huge sale on Brothers sewing machines now through the end of the year. Get free lessons, maintenance, and a first-year cleaning included. Fall into savings at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, now at their new location, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
Are you looking for a way to serve your community? Look no further than the New Mexico Army National Guard. Whether it's disaster relief or defending our freedoms, the New Mexico Army National Guard is always ready to serve. Gain valuable skills, receive world-class training, and be a part of a team that makes a difference. Step up and become the best version of yourself. To join the New Mexico Army National Guard, call us at 1-800-GO-GUARD. That's 1-800-GO-GUARD.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And it is 7:59, closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. Stay tuned next hour. Of course, closer to the top of the hour, we're going to have Ted Smith join us with the Walker Aviation Museum, gives an update on what's going on there. Also, later on in the hour, we had a short interview yesterday with Hayden Hill from Goddard High School talking about their Veterans Day Assembly, which is Thursday. It's kind of a big deal if you've never been to there, so we'll try to work that in next hour as well. Town Hall News up next. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The prosecutor overseeing the Hunter Biden investigation is expected to testify privately today before congressional investigators.
The closed-door interview marks the first time a special counsel appears before Congress in the middle of a probe. Members of the House Judiciary Committee want to question David Weiss on allegations that he did not have full authority in the years-long case into President Biden's son, Hunter Biden. A spokesperson for Weiss calls his testimony unprecedented. Questions about Hunter Biden's business dealings overall have been central to a GOP-led impeachment inquiry into the president. I'm Julie Walker.
President Biden has spoken with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about potential pauses in the fighting in Gaza to allow humanitarian aid into the territory. The Prime Minister, interviewed by ABC News, reiterates his stand regarding a cessation of hostilities.
There will be no ceasefire, general ceasefire in Gaza without the release of our hostages. As far as tactical little pauses, an hour here, an hour there, we've had them before.
Hamas terrorists launched their bloody attack on Israeli civilians 1 month ago today. Services have been held across Israel, remembering the hundreds of victims of what some call Israel's 9/11. Abortion on the ballot today in Ohio. A state constitutional amendment would enshrine the procedure right up to the moment of birth. Republican Governor Mike DeWine calls it radical, urges a no vote on Ohio's Issue 1. The Trump legal team vowing to seek a mistrial in the New York Attorney General's civil lawsuit against Mr. Trump. On the stand yesterday, the former president sparred with the presiding judge while dismissing New York's Attorney General as a fraud. On Wall Street, stocks have turned higher. The Dow is up 2 points. The Nasdaq ahead 71, the S&P 4 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
NATO announcing the formal suspension of a key Cold War-era security treaty in response to Russia's withdrawal from the deal.
The alliance says its members who agreed to the treaty are now freezing their participation in the pact. Most of NATO's 31 allies have signed the Treaty of Conventional Armed Forces in Europe, which was aimed at preventing Cold War rivals from massing forces at or near mutual borders. It was signed in November 1990, but not fully ratified until 2 years later. Russia's foreign ministry announced earlier on Tuesday that Moscow had finalized its withdrawal. I'm Charles de la Tesma.
Fresh from his Middle East tour, Secretary of State Blinken refocusing diplomatic efforts on Asia. Blinken and his counterparts from the G7 leading industrial democracies have launched 2 days of talks in Japan. The devastating impact of the war in Gaza expected to be a key focus of the meeting. News and analysis, townhall.com. Adult beverages becoming more commonplace at some collegiate sporting events.
For many years in college football, the alcohol flowed only outside the stadiums at tailgates.
Not anymore. Selling beer and wine has apparently become the norm. According to an AP survey of Power 5 conference schools in Notre Dame, 55 of 69 of them sell alcohol in the public areas of their stadiums on game days. That's up dramatically over the past decade. Experts say it's a reliable revenue stream. The trend picked up in 2019 after the Southeastern Conference cleared the way for alcohol sales at football stadiums. John Scott reports.
Well, apparently WeWork's business model didn't work, at least for the long term. The office-sharing company filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, marking a stunning fall for WeWork, once viewed as a Wall Street darling, promising to upend the way people went to work around the globe. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
Ooh, going with the voice projector this morning.
Had it over here. Figured why not, you know. You use the tools at your disposal.
That's right. That's why I keep playing with this frog. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope all of you are having a wonderful day so far. Hey, I'd like to update. Not that people care, but I'm going to update anyway.
Okay.
I am not in last place in my fantasy football league anymore. I'm rallying my pathetic little team, and I'm like in 8th place out of 12 now.
For those who don't know, Mike's fantasy team pretty much ate it in the first 2 weeks.
I had the draft, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I had Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, Nick Chubb as my starting running back. By week 2, both gone for the season.
Gone for
First
the
2-round pick, gone. Saquon Barkley, my other running back, he plays about 30% of the time.
Right.
So, all my guys just up and got injured.
But if I remember correctly, you had a pretty decent defense.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. I won yesterday because Thomas Beard, our commissioner, has a weird scoring. Like I had the Cleveland defense on Sunday. And they won. They did good.
Sure.
But however he's got the scoring set up, and I'm not complaining because it worked in my advantage this week.
For once.
I procured 111 points for my defense.
Wow.
111 points for my defense.
Dang.
That's the only reason I won, because the other players got like 2.
Taking it to Browntown. Well done.
So I don't know how I scored 100. Like I don't think Cleveland's defense did anything amazing on Sunday. They did pitch a shutout, but 111 points? Good Lord.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. It don't feel right.
It doesn't.
It don't feel right.
Hey, take the W, all right?
Well, my quarterback, I could have like a quarterback throws for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he gets me 30 points. All of a sudden, my defense shows up on the field. Like, how you doing? Here's 111 points for you. It doesn't make sense how he's got the scoring set up. It worked to my advantage this week, but it has cost me. I've had times where I'm like, I would have kicked his butt if his defense didn't give him 70 points. I'm like, Why is there 70 points? And then he adds defensive players, which are fine. I don't know why the defense is scoring. Now, I know he's working special teams into that, but I'm sorry. Your defense should not get you 111 points when your final score is like 170.
It sounds like something maybe you need to take this up with the commish.
For years I've been saying this. And it falls on deaf ears. But it worked to my advantage, I think, for the first time ever this weekend. And now and by the way, the commish is in last place. So,
Maybe time to fix your scoring system,
right,
there, buddy.
Try to work the system till you get your first place, and here you are in the basement. So, needless to say, Mike's team, my happy little football team. Yes, that's my team's name. Happy little football team.
Happy little football team.
Bob Ross set up. Is now out of the basement in 8th place.
Nice.
We're rallying. And I think 8th gets me in the playoffs. So if I could just keep farting around and get another 111-point defensive thing, I might make the playoffs.
Right, you're on your way.
And I'm going to tell you, when I do this, I do better. Like the years that I dominate and then I get to the playoffs, they tank in the first round. My team gets blown out. But if I eke into the playoffs and struggle, like I start in the basement and then work my way up, those teams come hard, and those teams usually do well in the playoffs. And that's usually the years I win the championship. Of those years that I eke into the playoffs, and then rally caps get on, and we start kicking butt. So I may have peaked too soon, though. We'll see. Ted Smith is patiently waiting while I tell you about my sad football stories to join us here from Walker Aviation Museum, give us an update what's happening there. So we'll do that here in a few minutes.
I got to give respect to a man who owns a pocket protector. That's well played, sir. That's respectable.
Well, it's
no, I admire the heck out of it.
No, I am.
To be honest, I think
I highlight in different colors. It helps my eye track where I need to go.
Yeah, I understand.
And,
I like it.
No shade whatsoever. I think it's awesome. I used to carry one myself. I just don't have shirt pockets anymore, so I don't feel the need.
I don't today. Sometimes I do.
I got one after I was like, oh, this is what nerds have? Cool, I want one of these.
Well, back when I smoked cigarettes, that was the only reason for the shirt pocket.
Right.
Like it was the perfect place.
Pop one in there, yeah.
Because you didn't crush
No, you roll those in your sleeves. Isn't that how they used to do it?
Yeah, when I was in the 50s. When I was in
the 50s?
I'm not that old.
It's a handy place to
Get
keep
my
them.
Dapper Dan hair gel and
It would be pretty awesome if you just like went as like a millennial 50s guy and kind of just like rolled your vape into your sleeve.
I could, maybe.
Yeah.
People call me Fonzie, though.
They would, yeah. New age Fonzie.
Unless I get like a T-Birds jacket, then they call me Danny Zuko. But
you gotta slick your hair back.
It's sad that I knew Danny Zuko that quickly.
That's true.
My wife's fault.
It's a Baltimore.
It's my wife's fault. I've seen Grease one too many times.
By the way,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we've mentioned it really, but congratulations.
To me?
Yes, to you.
Okay.
Mike is going to be one of only a select few thousand people who are going to get to see New Kids on the Block, Paula Abdul, and DJ Jazzy Jeff. They couldn't get the Fresh Prince.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
But that's pretty awesome, man.
this is a cost of marriage thing.
From Roti. Which, by the way, when you told me, the only reason I remember Roti is because it sounds like low T, which
I have.
I feel like that's what drug you to the concert, you know?
Yes. In July of next year.
Oh, it's next year.
It's July.
Wow, I didn't know.
Or it's this. No, it's next year. Yeah,
yeah, it's not.
I was like, it's
past
November.
July.
Yeah, it's got
That's
to be next year.
crazy,
For a
though.
minute, you got me thinking it was
That's a
early in the year or
long-
something. I was like,
that's a
what
long
year
way
is it?
away.
No. It's next July, 1 year from next summer. At the Isleta Pavilion or whatever it's called now. I'm not sure what it is. Where it used to be the Journal Pavilion.
It's the Isleta Pavilion.
Yeah, that place. The concert of which Sean just spoke, New Kids on the Block, Paula Abdul, and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Who I have to imagine is the opener.
I would think.
Right?
Let me think. To be honest, I'm surprised Isn't Paula Abdul a little bigger deal than New Kids?
Yeah.
She was.
I would think so.
She was at a time, but New Kids on the Block has been doing this whole like reform tour.
Yeah.
And
I'm just thinking Paula Abdul should be the headliner, not New Kids. But New Kids will be the headliner.
Put yourself in 1989. Who was bigger? The New Kids. They were the ones. It was like the girls were in the street screaming.
I don't know,
No,
man.
it depends on who your
Paula Abdul was just hanging out in her
customers
warehouse
Yeah,
with
I
MC
don't know.
Scat Cat, you know?
No. She that Straight Up was a huge.
Straight Up was a huge hit.
Huge hit. That was so big.
Yeah. Now the question is do they look like grandparents?
Paula Abdul does.
She looks pretty good. She's all right.
She can still do the dance moves and the whole
comes
deal.
the iPhone. He's looking for the picture.
It's really
Well, I see her doing
interesting.
commercials. That's the only reason I still think she does. Because there's like a commercial for some, of course, she's because of her age, some medicine, and she's dancing and doing her like Laker girl dance moves and everything still. And she's what, mid-50s, late 50s?
She still has that.
She might even be 60s at this point.
She still looks good. She still has that kind of that 1,000-yard stare though.
Yeah.
Just like don't know where she's looking.
But isn't she still judging somewhere?
Well, I mean,
Some-
she's always judging.
Oh, I know where I saw her. Because
Where?
my wife reminded me every single time the commercial came on. She's a guest judge on either the It Just Happened or episode of Dancing with the Stars that are coming up. And they said, special guest judge Paula Abdul. And every time that commercial came on in the last week, my wife goes, we're going to see her in July. And I just kept, I know, quit reminding me.
Okay, wait. These can't all be the original New Kids on the Block. Was one of them black? Because one of them is now.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's a
No.
transition you can make. I don't know. I don't remember.
Do they have
the original
new kids?
Are there new kids? I don't know.
This is not my...
Who are this old men in the Tide commercial or whatever that is? The lady sniffing the
At
T-shirt.
this point, yeah, they need to start calling themselves old men on the block.
There's the Mythbusters one,
Hold
where
on.
the two guys
Maybe
from
he's not-
Mythbusters are in the Tide commercial. It's a girl and a guy, and then there's a Tide employee.
Well, maybe it's not Tide. The lady comes in. She's sniffing her old boy band T-shirt.
Oh yeah, that's was that NSYNC or is that New Kids?
It's probably New Kids.
Or
I
was
gotta-
that Backstreet Boys?
Or it might have been Backstreet.
I think it was
Actually, that was
Backstreet Boys. Yeah.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
okay.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
I
it was
know there's
Backstreet
a bunch of moms out there who are like screaming their radios right now. Yeah, of course they're right there. Am I wrong, or is he just incredibly tanned? Is that just an incredibly tanned guy?
I'm sure that's.
I don't. That's New Kids. That's what it pulled up.
I thought there was more. Yeah, I don't know.
If
It's
they
very
walk
hard to-
in the room, I wouldn't know who they are.
Well, Donnie Wahlberg's the
They
only one I
don't
know.
ever walk into a room.
Yeah,
They
but-
dance into a room.
So maybe it
And
is
they
a
own it.
2020. Ask my wife. This is it's not my wheelhouse.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm getting
give me a
dragged to
chance.
this thing. I'm like, I get to sit on an aisle end. That's the only saving grace I got is there.
Right,
So
so it's an island to
I
himself.
can run to a toilet if I need to hide. But yeah, it's gonna be a long night for Mikey that day. I am
All right,
not
Mike,
looking
you've-
forward to that July date.
You've got the right stuff, baby.
No, I want to be gone. All right, 8:17. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Very warm for the next couple of days, but we've got a big cool down on the way with a cold front heading in on Thursday. We'll be back in the 50s by then. For now, we'll stay in the upper 80s, sunshine through the day. Overnight will be clear with low to mid 50s, and then we're looking at mid 80s on Wednesday, gusty wind and mostly sunny skies. Cold front moves in on Wednesday night, showers in mid 50s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 56 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 42%. Winds calm at the moment. Sunny and 87 for a high today. Southeast winds 5 to 10 this morning, increasing 10 to 15 for this afternoon. Clear tonight, overnight low of 53. Southeast winds 5 to 10. Wednesday, sunny, 84 for a high. West winds 5 to 10 early, 15 to 20 for Wednesday afternoon. Those winds are going to be bringing in increasing clouds and cooler temperatures. Wednesday night, increasing clouds, overnight low 47, west winds 10 to 20. And then Thursday, we're looking at a 30% chance of rain in the morning, mainly before 11. Mostly cloudy for the day, high of only 53. So we'll go from 84 to 53 Wednesday to Thursday. Winds will be out of the northeast, 10 to 15. 20% chance of rain for Thursday night. Mostly cloudy overnight, low of 40. Mostly sunny and 56 on Friday. Veterans Day on Saturday, mostly sunny and 59, and 63 and sunny on Sunday. All right, 8:19. We're going to take a quick 3.5-minute break, and then Ted Smith will join us here from the Walker Aviation Museum on the other side. Don't go away.
Vote Joe Green for Roswell City Council, Ward 4 this Tuesday. Joe Green was born and raised in Roswell, New Mexico, and has over 27 years of professional experience as a successful small business owner. A graduate of Roswell High School, Joe Green married his wife Suki over 29 years ago, and together raised 3 children. Joe will work to unite the community to improve the well-being of the citizens of Roswell and Chavez County. The New Mexico Foundation of Labor, AFL-CIO, and Utility Workers Union of America support Joe Green. Sheriff Mike Harrington says, after talking with Joe Green about his desire to serve, I support him. Roswell Professional Firefighters Local 1249 IAFF endorsed Joe Green, saying we believe in his commitment and leadership ability for the city of Roswell.
Hey Roswell, I can assure you I will do my best to work hard as your city councilor. Vote for me, Joe Green, this Tuesday. I approve this message.
Ad paid for by the committee to elect Joe Green. Brianna Dowdy, coming to the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center Saturday, November 18th.
It's been 100 days.
Yesterday, a tribute to the Beatles.
Oh, I believe in yesterday.
The tribute band endorsed by Sir Paul McCartney returns to the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center in Artesia for one night only, Saturday, November 18th. Get tickets and more info at artesiaartscouncil.com. Yesterday, a tribute to the Beatles, Saturday, November 18th at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center in Artesia. Ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
The need to grow past our basic capabilities and experience the impossible will forever keep aviation technology evolving. Within the Aviation Maintenance Technology program at ENMU Roswell, students thrive knowing that the faculty and community are supporting their success. ENMU Roswell is dedicated to empowering students through hands-on skills training in a nurturing environment. To learn more, contact us today.
From morning runs to playing with grandkids, taking part in activities brings great joy to our lives, but it can also come with injuries. And for those in physically demanding jobs, the daily grind can wear on muscles, bones, and joints and lead to acute and long-term disorders. If you're suffering from an orthopedic injury, let our Artesia General Hospital specialists help. The sooner you address the root cause, the sooner you'll be back to living life in motion. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/orthopedics.
Let's face it, guys, we're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Ted Smith back with us. Morning, Ted.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Well, you know, every day's a holiday.
Yeah.
In beautiful Roswell.
That's right. Well, for folks who don't know, Ted joins us once a month, or Ted or Robert. It kind of, they draw straws. And will join us from the Walker Aviation Museum. Give us an update. If you're not familiar, the museum is located inside the air terminal at the Roswell Air Center there. If you go through the main entrance of the airport, it's right there. Open the door, walk in, and There it is the Walker Aviation Museum. It's open usually during the midday flying schedule there, right around 11 till 1ish or so, somewhere in that ballpark daily. It goes around the flying schedule out there. And the museum pays homage to really two things. The Air Force Base, where that airport sits, called home, the Roswell Army Airfield originally, then Walker Air Force Base. So you get a history of the people and the things and that what happened at that base during World War II and beyond and before and after. And the other side of it too is the Cold War side, getting us ready, the missiles, of course, the early ICBMs that the United States had. They were set up shop right here in this area as they got more advanced with going from to liquid fuel to the fuel cells and all the things. As the missiles got better, they and bigger, they went to other locations. But for the early parts of the Cold War, Roswell was quite the storage facility for many of their ICBMs and things. So, but that's really what the museum kind of focuses on those two things, is that kind of stuff. So you're more than welcome to come down any time during the day. Come today. If you're looking for something to do, come have lunch. Go in, get a burrito or a sandwich or something. They got pretty good food there at the airport. And then make your way over to the museum and do a little visit and talk to Ted, because Ted is filled with good information too. So if you got questions, Ted's the guy that can kind of steer you in the right direction too here. So,
well, you are making me afraid now I'm going to have to live up to it.
You have no problem doing that. Once Ted gets going, he's gonna impress you with what he knows, and we just want to encourage people to come out and see this museum and learn the history here. They do focus on STEM side. It's so as much as preserving and educating the community on history, they also step hard into STEM and inspiring the younger folks and to pursue careers in STEM, particularly in the aviation industry. We have the flight simulator that, honest to goodness, you can use to get towards your pilot's license. It is a tool to do that. It's not a big arcade game. It's a lot of fun, but it is something that could really help students and younger folks start their paths on their careers, whether in science and engineering. And so that's the other facet of the museum, is they do a lot of working towards that. You guys have some lot of sponsors and things that do nothing but help you guys support that mission, and so we're very appreciative of them, and it's because of them that you guys can keep doing what you do every single day out there.
Well, I don't need to come. You covered it.
I'm a motor mouth. I'm sorry.
No. Well, since our last visit, Mayor Jennings visited the museum yesterday.
Good deal.
And once again, want to say thank you, Mayor Tim. We appreciate his support a great deal. He provides us with a facility at the airport, which is really appropriate because it's the Air Force Base Museum. It just wouldn't be the same if it was downtown by Wendy's or something.
Yeah. Although I know over the years they kind of wanted to kind of get that, but things change and things happen. But yeah, its home is where it was when it was doing its mission and doing its thing there. So
he told me yesterday that one of the flights that we lost is being restored. And so that's going to be good.
Oh, good.
We're looking forward to having 2 major flights in a day.
Okay, good. That'll be more opportunities for folks to see the museum and come out.
Well, actually, yeah. Every time there's a delay our numbers just climb because people get bored.
They got some time to kill.
Yeah.
Come learn some stuff.
We had a recent visit by the NAMI Aviation Club.
Awesome.
And all you teachers out there, Walker Museum at gmail.com, schedule your field trips.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to get on it. Get those kids out of the classroom. I had some family members since the last time that are kind of interesting who visited. As usual, the family members who grew up on the base remember Roswell very positively. They felt very included and welcomed.
And they probably see it from a kid or a youth perspective, so they look at the social scene probably a lot more than their parents did. You know what I mean?
to be frank, there are towns out there where there were military bases that where folks and the troops didn't really get along. You go to Killeen, Texas, where it seems like they specialize in payday loans and all that, finding ways to rob troops, selling them cheap cars that are junk. But the point is Roswell's nowhere near that.
No.
People come back here because they remember how well treated they were and just how genuine everybody in Roswell is. And it's always a warm, happy memory. And not everybody who's been stationed in places like D.C. can say that.
Right. Well, and that's just it. What I always find, to be honest, my experience in the military, the more desolate the area of the base is, the better the people are, if that makes sense.
The more rural, yeah.
Yeah, I generally find when you're kind of stuck at a base or a place that isn't near a major city, you tend to find that people are more family, more because they all kind of look out for each other.
Genuine.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that's not always the case, but just my experiences, like I was stationed in Harlem in there, and yes, it had a little of the payday loans and car lots and all that. You strip there, as you go into because if you see Alamogordo is a couple miles away from Holloman Air Force Base. You have to drive 10 minutes into town to get into Holloman there. But on that 10-minute stretch, at least when I was in, it was nothing but payday loans and bars and lemon lots, basically.
Yeah, lemon lots.
and so there was that. But at the same time, there is that sense of community and sense, obviously with the German Air Force coming in, they kind of ramped up literally a little more after my time at Holloman, but they were starting when I was getting there. And that whole community sense was very much a part of that there, too. It's
One of their planes flew in about 3 weeks ago. It's kind of surprising to see a big old Transall C-160 there.
Yeah, they get. They used to have the tornadoes there, and then you'd see the tornadoes kind of flying around here from time to time. But I think they pulled chocks on all those. I don't think they're there anymore. But
we had a visitor who was a vet from Walker, right, who'd been stationed here. He flew in because he wanted to find a Walker reunion.
Okay.
Rather than do it over the phone or the email, he flew in for that, and we were able to connect him.
Oh, good.
A lady named Carol Westbury brought some photos that were really cool of her grandfather, who was in World War I flight training in Virginia. Extraordinarily rare photos that would be welcomed at places like the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Very, very high quality, too.
Wow.
Charlie Thompson was here with some pictures and info from his dad.
That is cool.
These are some of them people who've flown in. A fellow named Duncan Monroe flew in from Sparks, Nevada, and donated a model of a B-29 that has cutouts so you can see what the inside of the aircraft is like.
Okay, kind of gives you a little inside peek of what the life inside was like.
Right, and he's the son of a man who was assigned to the 509th.
Okay.
And we see this all the time, and it's really, really neat.
I enjoy it. It's great that we have that, because here's the sad reality. That's going to go away at some point. Because people are going to die off here, and the people that called this base home, we're going to lose them at some point. I mean, the base closed late 60s. We're already getting that point where we're going to be losing these people.
We're seeing some end of life kind of trips,
and so I loved and cherished these so much, because at some point we're not going to get to do this anymore. Yes, we're going to get the grandfather, granddaughter, grandson that maybe came in, want to learn about their family. Love that. But the chance to get the veteran or the daughter or son of the veteran that came in and said, yeah, we lived here at Roswell. I remember as a kid, or the dad or the mom that comes in and says, yeah, I served in whatever regiment there or whatever, flight there. They do the squadron, whatever they did. That's what I love, is to hear that, and when they come in and they bring their stories and they bring their photos and they bring their memories of the time here. That's what makes that museum great. That is the great part of that museum.
There's an awful lot of that here in town. We receive a lot of donations of material from people here in town. We have a big collection. simple things like someone's club membership card or their old ID card or something. It seems like just waste paper, but it's really not.
It's history.
And if you have it in your house, bring it by.
Yeah. If you don't want to keep it around in your collections, we'd love to have it for safekeeping in ours.
So very, very many people in town, civilian folks, have worked at the base from World War II forward, that it's really not just about the Air Force by a long shot. Very large Air Force civilian population of employees and contractors and folks.
Oh, yeah. Military bases don't go without the civilian side. It's
absolutely.
It's a heavy presence in every single. Doesn't matter if it's Army, Air Force, Navy. Don't matter. It's there.
Well, I want you to know that this is your museum, Roswell. This is about Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
So not just a bunch of folks who passed through to do some training or for an assignment,
but the people that supported it and lived the lifestyle with the people that came in and did their.
Yeah, it's to me, it's just absolutely heartbreaking the base closed because the base was about the people of Roswell.
Yeah. I here we are in 2023. I feel like there's got to be some military people kicking themselves in the heads thinking, just think what we could still be doing with that facility, because it still has the longest runway in the world. We have great flying weather. There's a lot of assets that the military would like, even still today, at that base. We have Holloman, we have Cannon, we do have Kirtland. Holloman probably does a lot of missions that you would find similar to what you would see here at Roswell. Cannon a little bit, Kirtland no. But of course, Holloman is a fighter base; it's not a bomber base. But still, the same reasons why it's open would be the same reasons why this one's open. The bombing ranges, the great flying weather that New Mexico has. They can get so much more training done here than they can when they go to, say, Maine.
They sure can.
Yeah.
And the Navy brings people out every year from Corpus Christi, and they have a giant flying training area over the Gulf. And they still prefer to fly here because there's actually so little air traffic here that they can do constant turnarounds.
Why do you think that Reno Air Races is such a draw for us here? Because we have the great flying conditions for what they're trying to do, and so that the military saw that too.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't remember the name of the base, but the air races at Reno are at a closed military base, and that's an indicator right there what you can do with a really high quality closed military base.
Yeah. It'll be nice. We're looking forward to that. I know we're getting a little off topic here, but
I don't know. Somebody told me that we don't have enough hotel rooms to support something like that.
Well, not yet, but we can do that.
There's a problem to have.
Yeah.
Prosperity.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Growth. Yeah, we can figure that one out. We can do the logistics here.
Trust me, they'll come.
Yeah.
And they'll build.
And to be honest, we have a lot of needs for that anyway between NMMI, oil and gas industry. We could use more lodging in this community anyway. And so if that's the spark that gets that fire going, then bring it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to work off the printout of what to say at the radio.
All right. Stick to the script.
Now here's the bad news. I need an eye exam. And this stuff's so small print. So it's going to be.
The older we get, the harder it is to read this stuff.
Going to be interesting.
I keep constantly taking my glasses on and off to read things.
We need some volunteers to help at the museum. I'm not talking about you have to be a history expert by a long shot. You just have to know to call me and I'll help you find out.
Sure. Need some folks to help and need, probably some physical, even to help catalog and move things around.
2.5 hours a day is pretty much what we have the museum open for. It's all about entertaining people that are flying through Roswell and just making them feel welcome.
It's a great gig for retired folks or folks that, if you're looking for some time and you love to talk and meet people. This is a great job where you get, or great opportunity to volunteer where you get to have fun and hang out and hear. And you're the first line of defense. All these great stories and things that we hear, guess what? The volunteers are the ones that get to hear that and get to be exposed to that. And so it really is a cool treasure
Oh, by the way, we're free
that.
entry, right?
Oh, yeah, it is.
You pay so much money to go to museums, but not ours. We can't imagine a world where you would charge money for that. Okay.
And we just want to honor our veterans and our folks that called this place home at some point or another.
We had some elections. Our new president is Sandy Correa.
Congratulations to her.
Poor Ellie Bishop will never escape being the treasurer. Bob Sherman's the secretary. Katie Yates, Bob Donnell, Julie Halverson, Judy Armstrong, Jerry Koffler. Okay, Father
Warwick. Father, hold on. I always mess up.
Nowaki.
Nowaki. Yes. He's a great guy.
He is, and he's got a Polish name, and so it's hard, but we love him.
But he is the most positive man I've ever met in my life.
I believe that.
In a good way.
Yeah.
He's such a light in the room when he walks in. He's just a nice guy.
So we have Stephen Miller, Peggy Bolin, of course.
Yes.
Doug Weiser, General Murray, and a new member is Josh Buskin.
Well, welcome, Josh. New member here. But always looking for more volunteers to serve as docents to help out. They can always use another board member or two to get some fresh ideas and fresh faces in the room here a little bit.
Be surprised they let me on the board. So the bar may not be high.
They let me in the rooms too, and I'm like, "What? You made a mistake."
I've got a list of people to thank. That's my big error when I come on your show.
We don't want to ignore these folks because they are the godsends that give of themselves to allow this museum to still exist.
Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development, Glenn's Furniture, David Petroleum, last year Roswell, Toyota, Xcel Energy, Dr. Phil Cathy, Aerosol, you can always count on them.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Visitor Center, the Chamber of Commerce, even the UFO Museum sends people our way.
That's great. It's good to see that networking and that synergy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it is. And of course, the mayor and the airport management. The airport management makes us feel like family out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, because you could surely feel like the outsider pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think they get the importance of what that museum is and why it's here, and I think a lot of people get why, just what big a deal it is and why the impact that has had and why that museum's here. And to be honest, that museum needs to be here so we never forget. We never, ever forget the great work and great things and great people, what they did here at one point or another in Roswell, New Mexico. And that's why that museum needs to be around for long after you and I have left this earth. So.
Yeah. Oh, man, you're getting me all choked up. But it's true. And, one of the things we're able to do for the airport management is that when they have VIPs, they like to bring them out to see the museum. And so we want to do our very best to help them.
Make sure you got your good clothes on and your Sunday church clothes on.
Oh, that will happen.
Polished up nice.
Yeah, but I'll brush my teeth for them, yeah.
There you go.
Hey, our mission statement is to educate and inspire all generations concerning the history and legacy of Walker Air Force Base. And, very importantly, to encourage our youth to explore careers in STEM and aviation.
Please book, if you have a youth group, scouts, church, high school groups, and you're interested in doing the STEM stuff, reach out to the museum. If you go to the website, www.wafbmuseum.org, you go there, you can learn more, contact. If you'd like to donate, there's a donate now button there. If you'd like to donate finances to keep this museum going, that's a great way. But if you're interested in signing up for an organization to do a tour or to get involved in some of the STEM programs and things, or if you're an individual, maybe you're a student and you have a pursue an engineering or you're flying or something like that, reach out to the Walker Aviation Museum. They'll get you checked out and give you kind of like a license on that flight simulator. And then when on your time and when they have, when they're open free time, you can come in and log hours to your pilot's license here And you can literally fly almost any airport in the world with any plane in the world with that thing. So.
Yeah, I crashed really, really good in New York City. I think I hit a bagel store.
Oh, the humanity.
Yeah.
But please utilize this. The Walker Aviation Museum is not only your place for entertainment and enjoyment, but for education and enrichment. And who knows, maybe your next step in your path of life will be calling because you made a trip to the museum. So.
And something that people don't really always get is that that's not a dead airport.
No.
That's an intermediate depot that's very active, has many companies. And nationwide, and at our airport especially too, there's a shortage of trained mechanics that have the airframe and power plant certificate from the FAA. If you graduate from high school in New Mexico will pay for your education at a state system school. You can go down to the school at the base here, take the A&P course. Nationwide average starting salary is $65.
You can write your own ticket.
I'm sure it's less here starting, but the point is that that's the factory for our town, the other factory, the one that doesn't make cheese. And there's a chance for you to make a good, strong, solid career. And it all starts with staying in high school and just getting the degree, the diploma.
Put it this way. I know another way you could do it, but it involves you swearing in. And yeah, and go be a crew chief in the United States Air Force, the United States Navy, and then or the Marines. They got planes too. And then you'll get your A&P that way, or you can go to college and do it that way. But one may be cheaper, but you kind of gotta you're committed to a few things first.
Yeah, and the A&P is not guaranteed from the armed forces.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll give you the knowledge, and you got to go pursue it afterwards.
You still have to go take the course and the test. It's kind of amazing that the best mechanics, airframe mechanic, for example, in the Air Force, they're board selected to go fix Air Force One.
Oh yeah, it's a huge deal.
But that guy can't get a job here because he doesn't have an A&P certificate.
But he can work on Air Force One.
And here you are in this town that has the course to make it happen. For people who want to travel later and all that, make six figures to go to DFW and all that. Yeah, that's wide open. And for the folks that want to stay here in town and be with their families, that's wide open.
Sure. Well, these companies are hiring all these mechanics and specialists, and so you can set your roots right here in town with your family and make decent money. And
nice.
And if life changes and you want to move, guess what? That career goes with everywhere you go, because wherever there's an airport, there's going to be an airport mechanic needed.
It's like being a teacher.
Yep.
Let me give you an example. We had a pilot come in last month. He made a very minor repair to the aircraft, literally flipped a switch, and the green lights came on. But he's not an A&P. He's the pilot. They couldn't find an A&P from American on duty that day.
They could sign it off on what they...
Right. They flew one in from Phoenix. There are jobs here.
Yes. And you can really... It is... And I'm telling you, you can make some money. So please, come talk to the Walker Aviation Museum if you're interested in these careers and these types of things. Reach out. They're there. We're about out of time. We got to roll here. But is there anything we want to mention here that we skipped over and get a chance to talk about?
There's one last thing. I have to mention it every single time I come to the radio. Our founding fathers set it up so that we take turns being in charge. They knew we weren't going to agree on everything and on anything. So when they wrote the Constitution, they set it up so that we have our fights in the voting booth. So long as the last one, from dog catcher to president, was elected through the constitutional process, and that includes with vote fraud, because it's always been here.
Yeah.
Okay. It's sad.
That's not new.
But it's true.
As long as there's been voting fraud.
Right. And so long as the next one is elected through the constitutional process, everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is fine. In the short sight, we don't see that, but historically, when you look over the long sight, it's guaranteed, and that is what makes America special.
Absolutely.
Any country in the world that has suspended their constitution for even a day is never free again, because it's easier and easier and easier next time to do it.
Oh, we've had a lot of conflicts and turmoil, but that Constitution has survived through all that and has been the guiding point that allows us to navigate through these times. I mean, some of you grew up during the Civil Rights era, some of you didn't. The things you saw, and you see today's world and what you're dealing with, this is not new. This has been going on long before we were put on this planet, and will be going on long after we're put off. We're off this planet, and things like the Constitution are that lighthouse in the storm, the beacon that we need to guide us through when turmoil. It's easy to live by the Constitution when times are good. When things are going well and you're prosperous, Constitution's amazing. When times are tough is when you really need to rely on that.
That's when it protects us.
Yeah, and that's why it's there. So
we can change it anytime we want.
Yeah.
It's just hard enough to change that you don't do it on a whim.
Yeah.
And it's easy enough to change that I don't know how many times we've changed it.
Absolutely. Well, look at the amendments and every time, and sometimes we've changed it and changed it back.
Oh, yeah. That time somebody decided no one should have alcohol.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing that getting out there and casting your vote is worthwhile just because there are many people in the world who can't.
Yep. And you are belittling all the people that try if you don't take this seriously and do your responsibility. So please, thank you, Ted. Go vote. If you did not early vote, go do it today. There's like 11 different convenience centers around the county. Get there and vote. So, Ted, appreciate the visit. As always, I love our discussions each and every month. So look forward to our next one. And folks, come on out to see the museum. Come out today if you get a chance. If not, come out later this week or whenever you get a chance. But trust me, spend some time in that museum, and you might get lucky. Maybe you walk in there when there's a time where one of these kind of legacy families or someone's coming in, and then you get to be a fly on the wall while you hear those stories. And trust me, you'll be so glad you did, because every time I get an opportunity to hear someone that came here and they bring like their baseball jacket, or you know what I mean, they bring a piece of what life was like in Roswell, New Mexico in the 50s or 60s or 40s. It makes me happy. So awesome. Be a part of that. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, sir.
All right, it is 8:52. Let us play some news and Cowboys report, quick break, and all that. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Members of the Roswell Police Department SWAT team recently competed in the Texas Tactical Police Officers Association SWAT competition in Round Rock, Texas. The RPD team had an impressive showing, finishing 9th overall among 36 teams in the competition. The competition consisted of 8 events during the 4 days, with most events focusing on physical fitness, shooting skills, and team communication. Results of each event were based on a variety of factors, including teamwork and response times in accomplishing the presented situation or task. In a sign of the times, Artesia is bidding farewell to a small business downtown that's been around more than a half-century. The Daily Press reporting B&B Newsstand is closing. The business once posted the largest magazine and newspaper collection in the state and also boasted of having the best fountain drinks this side of the Pecos River. Owner Gayla Ivy says she plans to spend much more time with her 9 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren, traveling and tending to her garden. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Hey everyone, with your Cowboys report, I'm Christy Scales. There are no moral victories in the NFL, and the Cowboys trailed the Eagles by 2.5 games after Sunday's loss in Philly. But Micah Parsons says he's feeling confident. He explains right after this.
A true Dallas Cowboys fan is there for the journey and the destination. This is the season to make your journey count by flying through McAllen International Airport, the South Texas airport of the Dallas Cowboys. Whether you're flying down for McAllen's award-winning fall and holiday festivals, or you're a South Texas fan flying up to cheer the Cowboys on, make your journey as satisfying as your destination at the South Texas airport of the Dallas Cowboys. McAllen International Airport, above, beyond, at McAllenairport.com.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
The Cowboys' defense allowed 28 points in Sunday's loss to the Eagles, who now have a 2.5-game lead over the boys in the NFC East. But All-Pro Micah Parsons felt the defense played a strong fourth quarter, held a big play passing game mostly in check. And for critics who think this Dallas team is doubting themselves, he says, think again.
I feel like we got even more confidence now. I feel like everybody had us out and everyone was praising this Eagles team. But obviously, we gave them their best fit. I'm not even going to spit fuel on the fire. We'll see them again in 4 weeks.
Players have today off, but here at the Star, coaches are finalizing the game plan for Sunday's visit by the New York Giants, who've lost their top 2 quarterbacks to injury. With your Cowboys report, I'm Christy Scales.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Very warm for the next couple of days, but we've got a big cool down on the way with a cold front heading in on Thursday. We'll be back in the 50s by then. For now, we'll stay in the upper 80s, sunshine through the day. Overnight will be clear with low to mid-50s, and then we're looking at mid-80s on Wednesday, gusty wind and mostly sunny skies. Cold front moves in on Wednesday night, showers in mid-50s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All across America, this is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The NASDAQ streak extended, Uber revenue climbing, Wall Street's win streak intact. Stocks up slightly yesterday. The NASDAQ up 40 points, notching its 7th straight positive session, the longest streak for the index since January. Investors still betting the Fed won't raise interest rates the rest of the year. Microsoft stock up slightly after hours. The company's CEO making a surprise appearance at its OpenAI event yesterday, pushing its Azure cloud business. Microsoft shares up 15% over the past 6 months. Shares of dating app Bumble moving lower in the extended session. Bumble's CEO and founder announced she's stepping down early next year. The stock slipped 4% after yesterday's announcement, down 36% so far this year. Uber Technologies reporting today third quarter revenue expected to be more than $1 billion over 2022. The stock up nearly 90% this year, up 12% over the past week. Shell expanding its gas business while cutting back on the less profitable green initiatives. Shell stock up 19% this year. Please join me twice each weekday for the Lou Dobbs Business Report right here.
Business news you need to know. Keep listening for more. This is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
1 in every 5 businesses gets hacked. Why? Security requires identifying how many computers your business has. You probably don't know, and your cybersecurity team likely doesn't know either. Most companies underestimate their vulnerability points by 15% or more. Payment processors, printers, and other network devices. Aricent pinpoints and secures these devices and ensures total network coverage. Call Aricent 908-878-7717. 908-878-7717. Aricent 908-878-7717.
Vote Joe Green for Roswell City Council, Ward 4 this Tuesday. Joe Green was born and raised in Roswell, New Mexico, and has over 27 years of professional experience as a successful small business owner. A graduate of Roswell High School, Joe Green married his wife Suki over 29 years ago, and together raised 3 children. Joe will work to unite the community to improve the well-being of the citizens of Roswell and Chavez County. The New Mexico Foundation of Labor, AFL-CIO, and Utility Workers Union of America support Joe Green. Sheriff Mike Harrington says, after talking with Joe Green about his desire to serve, I support him. Roswell Professional Firefighters Local 1249 IAFF endorsed Joe Green, saying we believe in his commitment and leadership ability for the city of Roswell.
Hey Roswell, I can assure you I will do my best to work hard as your city councilor. Vote for me, Joe Green, this Tuesday. I approve this message.
Ad paid for by the committee to elect Joe Green, Brianna Dowdy.
Hi, I'm
treasurer.
Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to two amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Hugh Hewitt is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Ohio in the national political spotlight today as voters decide the fate of an abortion-related constitutional question.
Voters today are deciding whether to pass a constitutional amendment guaranteeing a woman's right to abortion and other forms of reproductive health care, including fertility treatments. Advocates on both sides of the issue are watching the outcome for signs of voter sentiment heading into 2024. In Ohio, voter approval of the constitutional amendment known as Issue 1 would undo a 2019 state law passed by Republicans that bans most abortions at around 6 weeks into pregnancy, with no exceptions for rape and incest. That law is currently on hold because of court challenges. I'm Donna Water.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says Israel will bear overall security responsibility in Gaza for an indefinite period after the war with Hamas comes to an end.
The statement's the clearest indication yet that Israel plans to maintain control over the coastal enclave that's home to some 2.3 million Palestinians. In an interview with ABC News aired late Monday, Netanyahu expressed openness to little pauses in the fight to facilitate the release of some of the more than 240 captives seized by Hamas in its October 7 attack into Israel, which triggered the war exactly a month ago. But there was no agreement on President Joe Biden's call for a broader humanitarian pause. I'm Charles de la Desma.
The IRS says it's running about 3 months ahead of schedule on going paperless, allowing taxpayers to digitally file all kinds of tax documents with the agency. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 71 points, the Nasdaq 126 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Italy's prime minister says her country will build 2 centers in Albania to host tens of thousands of illegal migrants.
Giorgia Meloni came to power just over a year ago, vowing to stop migrants crossing the Mediterranean in small boats to reach Italy. With the number of arrivals rising steadily since then, the right-wing leader has reached a deal with her Albanian counterpart, Edi Rama. It includes 2 centres in Albania to be paid for by Italy and able to accommodate up to 3,000 people at a time. One opposition politician in Italy said the agreement openly violated international law, while another called it a sort of Italian Guantanamo. And it's drawn strong criticism in Albania too.
The BBC's Warren Bull. An international media watchdog urging Pakistan not to deport more than 200 Afghan journalists who fled their homeland after the Taliban regained control of the country in August of 2021. News and analysis at townhall.com. A guilty verdict in a case stemming from a tragedy at sea.
A federal jury has found a scuba dive boat captain was criminally negligent in the deaths of 34 people killed in a fire aboard the vessel in 2019, the deadliest maritime disaster in recent U.S. history. Jerry Boylan was found guilty of 1 count of misconduct or neglect of a ship's officer. That's a pre-Civil War statute colloquially known as seaman's manslaughter that was designed to hold steamboat captains and crew responsible for maritime disasters. Boylan was the only person to face criminal charges connected to the fire. He could get 10 years behind bars. Keith Peters reporting.
An 11-year-old boy killed in a weekend drive-by shooting in Cincinnati has been identified. The Hamilton County Coroner's Office says Dominic Davis was a victim of a homicide. As of now, there have been no arrests. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Crazy Earnos almost fell over.
Almost. Should have gone ahead and full on fell over. Yeah. Let's do the Chevy chasing here. That'd be good. Of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope your day is going amazingly well. We got it is election day, so if you have not voted yet, today's the day. You need to get out to one of the early voting convenience centers, or not early, the voting convenience centers. It's on time now. Get to any of the, I believe there's 11 different locations. You can go to the clerk's website or the county website or the city website. You can see all of those there. It is an important election. Yes, we're not voting for president or something here, but all of you will be voting for a city councilor. Some of you will be voting for a school board member. And all of you will also be voting for some of the bonds and things here for education and all that. So those are some very important decisions that need to be made by you, the public. So please go vote today if you have not really voted already. I believe polls close at 7 p.m. this evening.
And did you happen to see the thing that I believe Jocelyn may have sent you?
Yes, she told me about it. If you go to the Helping Hands, which is a organization that helps homeless nonprofit, they've got a cool thing on their Facebook page. If you upload a picture of you voting or your I voted, kind of thing, you can get entered into a drawing to win like a
$50 gift card to many of the Main Street local merchants.
Nice. So get you some swag just for doing your civic duty today. So, and by the way, if you'd like to help Helping Hands, they're a great nonprofit helping homeless and
with
also
many hands.
And they help with like helping getting families homes, like getting them through the process of getting the financing. Kind of like if you think of Habitat for Humanity, the sweat equity kind of thing that they do.
Sweat-equity.
Similar, except I don't think they got them building houses. But as far as teaching them and giving them the tools to kind of
take the next step forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So that's what the Helping Hands does. And so when you're not trying to get free stuff off of them, see if you can make a donation.
For what it's worth, it's called With Many Hands.
With Many Hands, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Helping Hands, I'm bad at names.
It's okay.
But my heart's in the right place.
Of course.
I'm awful.
Did you see? It's dyslexia. Did you see the? I think I can say this on the radio. Did you see the meme I posted the other day of the Dyslexorcist?
Oh, I did. Yes.
Your mother cooks socks in hell. That's dangerous too.
Yeah.
If you actually say it out loud and realize that.
I did. Yes. I saw one. I got texted one. A funny meme just a few minutes ago. I was laughing.
Was it Greg's?
Yes.
Yes. I like it. I think that he runs it by us first. He's like, "Is this too much?"
I'm a bad sniff test.
You probably shouldn't use us.
I'm
for
a
that,
bad
Greg.
sniff test because I'll find it funny, and most people are like, "That is revolting. How dare you?" And I'm like, "Whoops."
It's funny at the time.
I got a kick out of it. So, yeah, but it was a good one. So, I don't know, Greg. You might get in trouble with other people, but good with me.
Yeah.
I loved it. I'm going to work in that interview this hour with Hayden talking the Goddard Rocket volleyball Veterans Day assembly that's on Thursday here. I'm telling you, vets, please go to this. Please go to all Roswell Highs. I believe is on Friday. A lot of the middle schools will be doing them this week as well too. Please, if you got your grandkids or your parents or nieces, nephews, they're doing veterans. Please come out and support them. As veterans, I say it's very important to go to these to show the next generation why it's important that we have veterans and the role of the veteran. And so, our Veterans Day assemblies, I think, are very good tools to inspire and show those youth are the next generation here what they got to do. So, please, but we'll play our interview we have with Hayden Hill. Actually, Sean got a chance to talk to him yesterday for a few minutes, so we'll play that here in just a bit. I did talk to him last week for halftime for the football game, and we talked about the event and all that too. So, please come out Thursday for that. So we're going to work that in this hour. Lori Schatz scheduled to join us. Is she here?
No, I haven't seen her yet.
Okay, so we may do our interview first, our 10-minute interview first, and then see if she comes in and all that. So, so let's do this. Let's get you up to date on the weather. It's like a black and white cookie this week.
You mean not popular in this part of the country?
I don't know why. They're delicious cookies.
It's just a sugar cookie, right?
Well, it's got icing on it.
Yeah, but the icing isn't really like. Is there any difference between the black flavor and the white flavor?
Yeah, to me, but I mean,
fair enough.
Some would argue it's not.
It just seems like a very simple cookie for whole states to base their the identity on.
Well,
but like a black and white cookie.
Like a black and white cookie, it's going to be hot the first half and cold the second.
There you go.
So. We're looking at so let's do the weather and then we'll get all that going. So we'll be back.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Very warm for the next couple of days, but we've got a big cool down on the way with a cold front heading in on Thursday. We'll be back in the 50s by then. For now, we'll stay in the upper 80s, sunshine through the day. Overnight will be clear with low to mid 50s, and then we're looking at mid 80s on Wednesday, gusty wind and mostly sunny skies. Cold front moves in on Wednesday night, showers in mid 50s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 56 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 42%. Winds are calm at the moment. We're looking at sunny skies and a high of 87 today. Winds will be out of the southeast. 5 to 10 this morning, 10 to 15 for this afternoon. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 53 degrees. Southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For your Wednesday, sunny and 84. West winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 15 to 20 for the afternoon. Wednesday night, increasing clouds with an overnight low of 47 degrees. West winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday, that's where the shift happens. We went the hot this part. Thursday is where we get the other side. 30% chance of rain in the morning, mainly before 11. Mostly cloudy and 53 for for a high. We're going from 84 on Wednesday to 53 on Thursday. Northeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. 20% chance of rain for Thursday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 40. Sunny and 56 for a high on Friday. Veterans Day Saturday, mostly sunny, 59 for a high, and then mostly sunny and 63 on Sunday. All right, it is 9:14. We're going to take a quick commercial break, about a 3-minute break. Then on the other side, we're going to play our interview with Hayden Hill from Goddard High, talking about their Veterans Day. It's about a 10-minute interview, and then we'll come back. Lori Schatz hopefully will be in about that time, so we'll get that going. So quick break, and then our interview with Hayden Hill on the other side, talking about Goddard Veterans Day. That's up next. Don't go away.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency.
Are you ready to make a real difference in your community? Introducing the New Mexico Army National Guard. Serve your community with pride and become a part-time hero. Join our dedicated team and enjoy the adventure of a lifetime. Get full-time benefits without sacrificing your current career or education. When disaster strikes and your community needs assistance, you'll be there to lend a helping hand. So don't miss out on the opportunity to receive education, adventure, and financial stability, all while serving your country. Get started by visiting our website, nationalguard.com/NM.
Life is better when you can just be. Be yourself. Be worry-free. Be at your best. Now you can be confident knowing the health insurance you find through Be Well & M has you covered for checkups, prescriptions, and more. Be Well & M can help connect you to a plan that may cost as little as $10 a month. It's time for you to be happy, be healthy, be insured. Let Be Well & M connect you to a health plan that's right for you and your wallet so you can just be. Call 1-833-2BE-WELL or visit BeWellNM.com.
Vote Joe Green for Roswell City Council Ward 4 this Tuesday. Joe Green was born and raised in Roswell, New Mexico, and has over 27 years of professional experience as a successful small business owner. A graduate of Roswell High School, Joe Green married his wife Suki over 29 years ago, and together raised 3 children. Joe will work to unite the community to improve the well-being of the citizens of Roswell and Chavez County. The New Mexico Foundation of Labor, AFL-CIO, and Utility Workers Union of America support Joe Green. Sheriff Mike Harrington says, after talking with Joe Green about his desire to serve, I support him. Roswell Professional Firefighters Local 1249 IAFF endorsed Joe Green, saying we believe in his commitment and leadership ability for the city of Roswell.
Hey Roswell, I can assure you I will do my best to work hard as your city councilor. Vote for me, Joe Green, this Tuesday. I approve this message.
Ad paid for by the committee to elect Joe Green, Brianna Dowdy, Treasurer.
You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. Think about that the next time you want to celebrate your birthday month. Here's Mike Winters.
And welcome back to the morning show. Joining us in studio this morning from Goddard High is Mr. Hayden Hill. How are you doing this morning, Mr. Hill?
Doing good, excited, and just things are going good at Goddard.
It has been quite an interesting couple of weeks. I mean, the playoffs now, the quarterfinals are underway. Goddard, the Rockets are going to be going up against Deming this Saturday, 1 p.m. So I'm sure the air is exciting over at Goddard. There's just a lot of excitement in the air.
Yeah, real excited. We got that Friday, and then our volleyball team, kind of for the district championship almost. We play Artesia at home tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you guys are just going on all cylinders. But we're actually switching gears because it's busy. It's a busy weekend for another reason, and that's because of the veterans event that we have going on at Goddard. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, it's going to be November 9th, this Thursday. The veterans will start getting their about 1 o'clock. We're going to have a get-together in the little theater, and then the assembly's going to start about 1:30. And it's something that we've been preparing basically a year for.
Yeah. As soon as the event's over for this year, basically you just start the planning for the next year's celebration.
But believe it or not, that night we get together and talk about what we could do better and what we could do different.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The post-mortem, as they call it in our business.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's going to be happening Thursday, right? November 9th?
This coming Thursday.
Absolutely. And that's at the little theater inside of Goddard High.
And then from there, we will be going into the big gym. Mm-hmm. Be about 1,000 kids, several hundred people from the community. And it's a little different from most veterans assemblies. We don't have a lot of speeches. It's all pomp and ceremony and pride, and we have a screen that comes down from the ceiling with motivational videos. It's just a way to say thank you. We try and do two things. We want to say thank you to the veterans and maybe be able to tell their story, but we also want to show the kids today that they believe in America, they like our veterans, they stand for the pledge, and to show their side too.
It's one of those things that generationally it tends to slip, and I think a lot of it slipped with my generation, the millennials, and even further with Gen Zers, and now they have I think it's Generation Alpha is what they're calling, and it's so important that we keep that spotlight and let people know that our veterans, the folks that are the only reason we have the freedoms that we have, the only reason that we can assemble, the only reason that we can gather like this is because of the freedoms that were won for us by our veterans.
Exactly. And like you said, the youth today, it's something we can't forget.
Right. I'm of the generation that, lived, and I know everybody says I lived through 9/11. I lived through 9/12.
Right.
I watched as an entire town gathered at the Wool Bowl and and waved flags and said and supported our troops, and I've heard a lot of people say that I want to get back to a mindset of how we were in those. I want to get back to a mindset of how we were on 9/12, where it's like it's us and them, and we it's our freedoms that we need to focus on.
You're entirely correct. We slipped to where we don't even stand up for the pledge or flag, and it's sad, but it almost takes a tragedy to get to that point. And that's what's good about this assembly. I think it's going to remind people of what's good about America and the sacrifice people have made for our country.
Absolutely. So you had mentioned there's not a lot of speeches; it's just a lot of celebration, a lot of, and then there'll be a video presentation in the middle of it.
We have several of them at various. So we kind of mix in video presentations with music presentations. We take every war and have the veteran that was in that war stand up. We do the Armed Forces medley. We have a really kind of exciting thing that's going to happen this year. We have a World War II veteran. We haven't had one for quite a while.
That's amazing.
And we have one that if things go good, it looks like he's going to be there, and we're pumped about that.
That's awesome. So obviously open to the public, especially open to veterans. If you've served, come let us thank you, let us celebrate you. It's all for you. And it's absolutely free. It's just another way that we can say thank you. And you guys have been doing this for quite some time now.
It's been 15 years.
15.
And it's not just for the veterans. Any loved ones or family that they have, we'd like them to go in with them. A lot of our kids are going to go in with them. And the public can go into Goddard and immediately right to the big gym. We're going to have out front honor guard and fire trucks and kids lining up, cheering for it. It's going to be quite a presentation.
Excellent. Now, obviously, you're not necessarily looking for anybody to reach out if they were a veteran. Which if they were a veteran, they want to be honored maybe a special way, or if they have a loved one that they wanted to honor in a specific way. Could somebody contact you and maybe reach out and maybe talk to you about that?
Yeah, and that'd be for like next year or whatever. Like I had somebody say, what about putting something in an assembly for people that have lost loved ones in a battle? So we've added that this year. So we're constantly adding. We had a person one time, we went through the wars, And a guy came up and said, well, what about the Cold War? It may not be official war, but it was.
Sure.
So we added that. So we're constantly trying to listen to people's needs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's something that's important. And as you have grown as a as the celebration has grown, it's great to know that you listen back. It's not just something that you're setting up and this is how it is.
Right.
But having that open mind is kind of it's a nice thing to have. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've tried to do it. It's funny how things have changed. The first year we did it, we put paper on the wall with a little projector, and the next day we went there and all the paper had fallen down. And it's the technology is really become a big part of this.
Absolutely. So again, that's going to be this Thursday, and that's going to be at the Goddard High Little Theater. The reception begins at 1 o'clock. The reception begins at 1 o'clock. The assembly begins at 1:30. So doors open a little bit before 1 o'clock for folks to kind of file in and find seats.
Yeah.
Obviously open to the public.
Yes.
Open and veterans, anybody who's loved ones who's lost a loved one, maybe through war or through just the life after the fact. Please come out and let us celebrate you and let us thank you.
Well, we thank you very much. One of the toughest things we faced is getting the word out. A lot of people go, God, we'd love to go, but we didn't know about it. And your radio station plays a huge part in that.
Well, we're happy to help any way we can. This is definitely one that's important. Mike's obviously a veteran himself and very involved with the groups here in Roswell. So it's just great to see that that folks can come together and just take some opportunities to celebrate veterans. And we're doing it a little early. We're doing it on a Thursday, and that gives you plenty of opportunities to, as I mentioned to Mike earlier on Monday morning, start at one end of town on Veterans Day and just do the Veterans Crawl. Just walk through or drive through and see what kind of free stuff you can get. Stop off and grab a free steak at Texas Roadhouse. Grab a free buffet at Golden Corral. That's what it's all about. We're celebrating veterans.
We do it Thursday because the Institute in Roswell and the game's on Friday, so we try and do it a little earlier. But I want to put a plug for the parade.
Yes.
I went last year, and I see people flood the place for the 4th of July and all that, and I see no reason why we can't get our kids and everybody there and just cover those streets because. Without, like you said, without them, we would not be the United States.
You're absolutely right. And that's actually kind of a cool thing this year because the Veterans Parade, which is going to be going north up North Main to the Wool Bowl, they're going to have that wrap-up celebration at the Wool Bowl, which will almost directly coincide with the tailgating for the Goddard game. And that's just, you love to see it. That's really cool to see that, this year we're kind of forcing the hand of the young people. It's like, you're going to be there because you're going to be there watching the game. You might as well come over and celebrate with the veterans too.
Exactly. Actually, we got to pull together our nation. If we don't stay together with the older generations and the new generation, then we will fall someday. So we got to stay together.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Hayden Hill, thank you so much for your time. Again, that's this Thursday at the Goddard High Little Theater. Doors open at a little bit before 1 o'clock. We'll have the reception at 1 o'clock, and at 1:30, the assembly will begin. And just a great time to celebrate veterans and the families of those veterans. Mr. Hill, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. And the actual assembly after the little theater is they're going to go into the big gym.
They're going into the big gym at 1:30.
Yes.
Okay. So the reception though begins at 1. That's basically in the
little theater.
The little theater, and then they move to the big gym for the assembly.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
All right.
Now we know the roadmap to success. Well, Mr. Hill, thank you so much for your time. Anytime you guys got anything going on, come on back to us. And,
thank you. You were awesome.
Hey, we appreciate you. Thanks so much. Back at you with more after this on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Sorello. Members of the Roswell Police Department SWAT team recently competed in the Texas Tactical Police Officers Association SWAT competition in Round Rock, Texas. The RPD team had an impressive showing, finishing 9th overall among 36 teams in the competition. The competition consisted of 8 events during the 4 days, with most events focusing on physical fitness, shooting skills, and team communication. Results of each event were based on a variety of factors, including teamwork and response times in accomplishing the presented situation or task. In a sign of the times, Artesia is bidding farewell to a small business downtown that's been around more than a half-century. The Daily Press reporting B&B Newsstand is closing. The business once posted the largest magazine and newspaper collection in the state and also boasted of having the best fountain drinks this side of the Pecos River. Owner Gayla Ivy says she plans to spend much more time with her 9 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren, traveling and tending to her garden. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You're bragging about an economy that has 2/3 of Americans at best living paycheck to paycheck. Many of those very same people, they're tapping into pensions at paying very high penalties to get that money just to make ends meet, just to get bare necessities. And the same for people that are using credit cards with very high interest rates. I'm reading in some cases as high as 30% interest rates that, just need them for bare necessities. I mean, it's a disaster. The real estate industry is collapsing, except in wealthy states that people want to go to, like Florida, Texas, the Carolinas, Tennessee. Those states are doing pretty well.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Very warm for the next couple of days, but we've got a big cool down on the way with a cold front heading in on Thursday. We'll be back in the 50s by then. For now, we'll stay in the upper 80s, sunshine through the day. Overnight will be clear with low to mid 50s, and then we're looking at mid 80s on Wednesday, gusty wind and mostly sunny skies. Cold front moves in on Wednesday night, showers in mid 50s Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Jeremy House. WeWork files for bankruptcy protection.
WeWork was once valued at close to $50 billion. Bankruptcy has been knocking at its co-working space door for some time. Finally, Monday, WeWork filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, saying it entered into a restructuring agreement with stakeholders to drastically reduce the company's debt while evaluating WeWork's office lease portfolio. As of June, the company had nearly 800 locations in 39 countries. Julie Walker, New York.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says taxpayers will be able to digitally submit all sorts of tax documents and other communications to the IRS months earlier than originally planned. Yellen says the IRS is 3 months ahead of schedule on going paperless. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Jeremy House.
It's time once again to celebrate the magic of the holiday season at the 42nd Annual Holiday Magic Arts and Crafts Show, Friday and Saturday, November 17th and 18th at the Roswell Convention Center, featuring a variety of unique handmade creations by artists, artisans, and crafters from New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona. There's fine art, jewelry, woodwork, women's and children's apparel, leatherwork, Christmas decor, sweet green chili, and much more. This year's featured artists, Judy and Bruce Buckman from Las Cruces, displaying their embroidered sweatshirts, purses, aprons, and Christmas decorations. Enjoy pumpkin rolls and cookies by Deborah Lucas, delightful mini donuts by Karen Hendrick, coffee and soda by Sodalicious Beverage Buggy, to delicious meals prepared by Eli's Bistro, Bubba's Pit Stop, and the Fry Bread Lady. Proceeds benefit the Assurance Home, the First Tee of Southeastern New Mexico, Christian Outreach Ministries, and Roswell's local high schools. Admission is $3. Children under 12 are free. Celebrate the 42nd Annual Holiday Magic Arts and Crafts Show, November 17th and 18th at the Roswell Convention Center.
At New Mexico Gas Company, we believe there's money hiding in your home. It's true. It's hiding in your insulation, in your water heater, and in your furnace. And New Mexico Gas Company can help you tap into that money with rebates up to $800 for high-efficiency natural gas improvements. Your energy costs will go down, and your wallet will thank you. We're New Mexico Gas Company, and we provide energy efficiency solutions to save you money. That's why we're here. Learn more at nmgcgetrebates.com.
From morning runs to playing with grandkids, taking part in activities brings great joy to our lives, but it can also come with injuries. And for those in physically demanding jobs, the daily grind can wear on muscles, bones, and joints and lead to acute and long-term disorders. If you're suffering from an orthopedic injury, let our Artesia General Hospital specialists help. The sooner you address the root cause, the sooner you'll be back to living life in motion. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/orthopedics.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Under Barry Foster in the last 7 years, city debt has climbed 300%. Instead of hiring 5 additional police officers, Barry Foster supported the $35 million public safety complex that 80% of voters rejected. And Barry Foster voted to spend $8 million for a Taj Mahal council chamber at the Civic Center instead of repairing our drinking water system. Now city water rates may be forced to increase by 25%. There's a better way. Carlos Marujo. Endorsed by Sheriff Mike Harrington, Carlos Marujo strongly supports law enforcement and public safety. Carlos Marujo will take a back-to-basics approach to city services and spending. A committed family man, Carlos Marujo understands that government must live within its means. And Barry Foster blames not paying his water bill for 2 years on his wife. Roswell doesn't deserve 4 more years of Barry Foster. Carlos Marujo, he's the change we need on our city council.
Our Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Our Values PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's committee.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell or call 575-622-4455.
The Fergalicious boys can keep you hot this winter. Fergalicious. Oh yeah, it's getting cold out there, and Fergie's Plumbing and Heating has what you need to keep things hot in your home. They can come by and winterize your pipes and check your insulation, and you know they'll do it with nothing but love. Oh yeah, baby. Call the Fergalicious boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating at 622-2660. When you need it hot, Fergie's is on the job. Fergalicious.
Let's face it, guys. We're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, That's aftermath.media.
A Greek-Canadian man invented the Hawaiian pizza. His name was Tex Colorado, and he was from Detroit. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 38 minutes after 9 o'clock. And real quick, before we get back into the show here, let me ask you a quick question. How's your vehicle doing right now? Time for some new tires? Perhaps got some road trips coming up with the holidays just around the corner? Well, good news. Big O Tires, they've got you covered. Fall into savings this month at Big O Tires. Save up to $140 on select sets of tires with a mail-in rebate, plus up to $200 in savings available on shocks and struts right now at Big O Tires here in Roswell. And if you need other maintenance, Big O Tires, they do it all. Oil changes, alignments, brakes, batteries, shocks and struts, AC tune-ups, fluid flushes, and much more. Big O Tires wants to keep you safe on the road. That's why they offer a free multi-point inspection with every single service. Plus, free convenient shuttle for drop-off and pickup, making it easy for you. And if you want more convenience, guess what? They got you covered with financing, too. New 12-month interest-free financing available on eligible purchases as well. Big O Tires, locally owned and operated right here in Roswell. Stop on by, schedule an appointment today. Visit at 1305 North Main or log on to bigotires.com. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Big thank you to Big O Tires for supporting the show. And they got you covered. If you need service tires, they're the ones to talk to. Don't forget, today is Election Day. And if you've not voted yet, you can still vote. Today's the day to do it. There are the different voting convenience centers around town. They are the Roswell Mall, which is the mall, North Main. Central Church of the Nazarene at 901 East Country Club. So that's Country Club Road Church is what that is. West Country Club Church of Christ at 700 West Country Club. So both on 901 East, that's on the other side of Main. And then Country Club
it's
on
like
the west
right
side.
next to where we're right next to Goddard High is where the
yeah,
one
that's
where
where that's the Central Church. And then Country Club or West Country, that's the one over by the golf course. Roswell Boys and Girls Club at 201 South Garden. The Roswell Museum and Art Center, 100 West 11th, right there by the Convention and Civic Center. New Mexico Game and Fish, 1615 West College over there by Cielo Grande.
Right across the street.
Yeah. The county clerk's office, which is at 1 St. Mary's Place there in the county admin building. They have like at the south end of the building, they've got a big vote here and go through that. Don't go through that one, because if you go to the county building to vote and you go through the main entrance, you're going to have to go through a gauntlet of hallways to get to that. So if you go to the south end of the building, you'll see like a vote here signs and all that.
The entrance closest to Casa Maria.
There it is. You go there, and that's where you vote. That way you don't have to go through the gauntlet of hallways and stuff to get to it. You can also vote at Sierra Middle School, 615 South Sycamore, and at Church on the Move at West Brasher. There on here in Roswell on the south end. So you can vote at any of those here for the city of elections today. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different spots.
That's convenient.
That you can go and vote to today. City's also offering rides to polling locations. If you go to the city's website, you'll find out how you can do that there. You have until 7 p.m. tonight to get your vote in if you have not voted yet. So get her done. Get out there and vote.
Absolutely.
Do your thing. So, I did stop it. Good. All right. I was recording something earlier. I was like, did I keep recording? No, I did not. So I've been watching, and I don't think I've talked about it on the radio. I talk about it with Sean. But my wife and I got into the CBS reality show Buddy Games back a month or two ago when it came out.
Sure.
And if you're not familiar with it, the premise of the Buddy Games reality show is Josh Duhamel of Las Vegas, remember that TV show fame, movie star, heartthrob, women swoon to him, Josh Duhamel, that guy. He actually did some movies that were based off of something that he did in real life with his friends. and they created, and it's called the Buddy Games, and they do these like Olympic style goofy events, like and it could be anything from drinking beers to pugilistic fighting style things. It could be all kinds of stuff, obstacle courses, things like that. You know? And so we learned about it from the TV show. We started watching the TV show, and the Buddy Games reality TV show is set up where it's like 4 teams of friends, and they compete, and then they got to eliminate some of the friends, and then they get to the winning team. They just finished that series last week.
Right.
The Oklahoma people won. Spoiler alert.
Oh, man. I was going to watch.
But this show begat from 2 movies. It was an original movie called Buddy Games. And I finally watched that movie over the weekend. And now I'm kind of starting to see the Buddy Games 2. I've seen most of it, but I haven't seen the end of it. So I was going to hold out and let my wife catch up and watch. But and I don't know how these movies slip my radar, because they're really the kind of movies, the stupid, goofy kind that I like. I usually like these kind of movies that gets the buddy comedy and they get into these weird situations and comically get out of them. Those are, that's a good premise for movies that I like. So I was kind of surprised. And this one actually has a few stars in it.
This is the problem with 16 streaming services.
Yeah.
Is you can't keep track of who's got a franchise or what's being made into what. I mean, it's very, very hard to keep track of.
Yeah, and so it just kind of, through the TV show, I was like, oh, there's these 2 movies. So the original Buddy Games movie, which you have to rent, I think the second one you can get on Prime for free, but the first one you got to rent.
Right.
So I ponied up $3 to watch this thing. Yeah, I gotta sell blood next week.
Recoup those expenses.
Yeah, but it stars obviously Josh Duhamel. It also has Kevin Dillon, which, if you remember from Entourage, and he's been in a couple other movies and things, but he was probably best known for Entourage. He was one of the Entourage. He was the main character's brother.
He's got a very unlikable face.
Johnny Drama, if you remember from the show. He's in it. Dak Shepard is in it.
Nice.
Comedic actor.
Good seeing good work.
Olivia Munn is in it. Actress. She's a pretty big name. And then there's a couple guys. Nick Swartzen, who you might remember from Grandma's Boy, or he's been in.
If you've ever watched Reno 911, he was what was his name? Terry? He was the guy.
Terry sounds right, actually.
The guy on the roller skates.
Yeah. He's the guy on the roller skates. He was also, if you watch Grown Ups movies, I'm not sure if he's the bus driver. I think, is that the first one? Which one is he? Where Adams? I think it's the second one.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a school bus driver, and he ends up with he's drunk and he's yes. Anyway, that's that guy. He's in it too, and then there's a couple other people I know. They're like faces, but I don't remember their names or what character actors. I'd be like, oh, I've seen that guy in 10 other things.
Right.
But the premise of the movie is basically the first one is they used to do the buddy games, and they kind of drifted apart, and one of them's going through some things, and so they bring back the buddy games to save their friend. Nice. And Josh Duhamel's now gone on to be a millionaire guy, while the others have some have fallen, some have done all right. Like one's a chiropractor, one's a out of work actor, the others in a mental health facility. But anyway, so the whole premise of the movie is them to bring back the buddy games, and and then comedy ensues, and they do the buddy games. And then the second one, the premise of that one is one of the cast members die. I won't tell you who.
I was going to say, you feel like you were really going through a dilemma there.
I was debating. Do I want to spoiler it? I won't. And so they get together for that person's remembering him, and guess what? They have another buddy.
And hey, let's have a buddy game.
So that's the premise. But now, if you're looking for Gone with the Wind, these movies aren't them. But if you want that slapstick comedy, if you like your Dumb and Dumbers and your Cannonball Runs and those types of movies, Buddy Games fits right in with that. Is the humor is raunchy. You will see things like they do, the gratuitous showing of things that you didn't need to see. but they do it anyway.
That genre of movies has sort of like gone to the wayside. Like your Grandma's Boy, your old school, kind of those style.
It's
of
in the
movies.
vein of those movies, and it's funny. I enjoyed it. It was an hour and 52 minutes that I thought was all right for watching.
Right.
Second, to be honest, that so far, and I got to finish the second one, so it's probably not a fair assessment. I like the comedy in the second one better than the first one so far.
Yeah,
so far, but that's I haven't wrapped up like in the second Buddy Games. There's a segment of it where they meet this like hippie type woman, and they don't have a place to stay, and they end up going on this weird psychedelic trip thing in the woods. That it's a 10 for comedy. It's just funny. It's literally like watching college kids get just trashed and do the dumb things that college kids do.
I will say it's not necessarily that same genre of the buddy comedy necessarily, but I did manage a couple of days ago to watch Strays.
Oh,
with Will Ferrell and
that's on
Jamie Foxx.
Is that the one on NBC?
It's on Peacock. Yeah,
Peacock. Yeah,
yeah. It is hysterical.
It looks
like
the
it was
trailer
recommended.
looked good.
Just basically because Will Ferrell's character, who's just this unloved dog. He's such a sweet dog, but he's the owner, who is oh crud, what's his name? Will Arnett.
Okay.
Not Will Arnett. Will Forte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last Man
Standing. Yeah. Or
not Last Man Standing.
No,
Last Man on Earth.
Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, that one.
Uh-huh.
That's Tim Allen. Last Man.
But he's just a scumbag. I mean, they played this game that I can't say the name of it on the air, but it's Fetch and F because he goes and throws or takes him somewhere off in like the woods or something, and he has to find his way home, and or throws a ball, and then he has to find his way home. And when he gets home, the
That's
owner,
like the old Looney Tunes where they take the dog out for the picnic and leave him there. Or was it Porky Pig? Or I don't remember which one. It was one of the Looney Tunes.
But it's kind of like he gets to be almost elf-like in his delivery because he's so innocent, because he's such a sweet puppy. He doesn't know any better. He loves this guy.
Right.
And the story is, again, I can't talk about it on the radio, but eventually he gets to the point where the strays find him and they're like, this guy's a total jerk to you.
Yeah.
And he decides that he wants to take his other favorite thing away from him, which is the only other thing he plays with.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
It looks like a good movie. I wanted to see it. Now,
very funny.
It's an animated movie.
No,
but
it's not. It's live action.
Oh, live action, but it's not for kids.
It is not for children.
It is rated R, if I remember.
Yeah, it is. It very much is.
It's even though it sounds like a kids movie, it is not. It is
at one point
not.
they were simulating acts with garden gnomes.
Okay.
And one of them said, "Say I'm your daddy." And he goes, "Hello there, I'm your father." And he was very Will Ferrell, like right in his wheelhouse.
Okay. All right. Well,
I fully recommend
if it ever comes off Peacock, I will watch it. So, because I don't have Peacock. That's the one I don't have. I have like 87 others, but that's the one I don't have.
Right.
And quite frankly, I don't want to, because I'm like, I'm not paying for another stupid service.
Yeah. In fairness, there's some good stuff on Peacock.
I know, and I kind of want to see it, but
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to. No, this is how they get me. No.
But I will say this: one of the things about not having children is you've managed to go this long without having seen the Super Mario Brothers movie, and thusly have not been had your ears destroyed with the Peaches song that kids all across the country are singing like ad nauseum,
My wife
including my
might
son.
get some of that because of school, but not me.
My son will just walk around the house going, "Peaches, peaches, peaches." It's Jack Black as Bowser. So it's a typical Jack Black song. It's like, "I love you." But my son is just walking around doing these like rip-roaring, peaches, 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 peaches. I'm like, Hunter, stop.
I barely got into Baby Shark. Only reason I got into that, or not get into it, but I heard of it,
got super into it,
was because the Nationals were making a World Series run in 2018, and one of the players walk-up song was the Baby Shark.
Here's the thing.
And it turned into a whole thing.
We had that song when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's completely different now.
Yeah.
Like now it's all a story about, like runaway, yada, yada, everybody lives. When I was a kid, you introduced all the members of the shark family, and then it's a swimmer out in the ocean who then loses an arm, loses a leg, and then the last line is head a bobbin doot 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 head a bobbin. Like that's how I remember it growing up. And then I hear it like as a parent, I'm like, what have you done to this song?
Yeah. Yeah, songs like that are kind of nursery rhymey have changed.
Right. Well, then again, some for the better because I was catching tigers by the toe as a kid, and I'm really glad that one changed.
I was too. I didn't know the other version until later in my adult life. I always wondered. Now it got me thinking, like, because the shark song we did in camp as a camp song, like when I worked at a Boy Scout camp in my younger days, and you do the chow hall and they always sing songs and everything, and the shark song was one of them. Another one that I sang at nauseum was the chicken song, but I'm not sure if that one might not even play anymore.
What's the chicken song?
The chicken song, and there's like 60 verses, just like the shark thing. But it was so basically it was a repeat after me, and you'd be like, I had a chicken, and everyone repeats. No eggs it laid. I had a chicken. No eggs it laid until that rooster came in my yard and caught my chicken completely off guard. We're having eggs. Now, that's the punchline.
Nice.
But there was like the jokes of each time, like I had a gumball machine. No gum it gave. I had a gumball machine. No gum it gave until that rooster came in my yard and caught my gumball machine completely off guard. We're having chiclets. We never used to.
That's cute.
There is a garden.
I'd never heard this.
There's a garden one that I had a garden, no fruit it gave. I had a garden until that rooster. We're having eggplant. We never used to. I had a shoe store. That was one of them. No shoes it sold. Until that rooster came in. We're having wingtips. We never used to.
Yeah, you really gotta think on these ones.
Oh, I'm trying to think of all the other verses.
I've never heard this one.
Oh, the other ending was shotgun. I had a shotgun, no shot it shot. I had a shotgun, no shot it shot. Until that rooster came in my yard and caught my chicken completely off guard. We're having rooster. We never used to until that rooster came in our yard.
Nice,
so that's that's like the punchline of the joke. But it starts off with the eggs, and then it works into chiclets or an airplane cockpit, which I guess that's frowned upon nowadays. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember all the different ones. There's about 20 of them, if I remember right.
No, nowadays, the new chicken song that I know, because my son has sang it ad nauseum around the house, is chicken wing, hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with my homies.
Oh.
Chicken wing, hot dog and bologna, chicken
from
and
a rap
macaroni, chilling with my homie. I don't know what it's from.
Sounds like it is. Sounds like it's from a hip-hop or rap song.
It's made its way into the zeitgeist of the internet. Now my son, my 5-year-old, walks around singing it all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's end up in a pop song here, rap song, or hip-hop song. Yeah. We used to sing all those dumb songs. Grand Old Duke of York. Remember? Grand Old Duke of York had 2,000 men. He walked them up the hill, and then he walked them down again. And when you're up, you're up. When you're supposed to go up and down. When you're down, you're down. And when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down.
I don't remember that one.
There was, I
remember the tongue twister song.
There's the state song, which I only remember parts of. And that one was like...
See, this is where our differences in age are, because like the when you say the state song, I instantly think of Wacko Warner singing the state capitals. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Indianapolis,
the one I
Indiana,
knew
and
was,
Columbus is the capital of Ohio. There's Montgomery, Alabama, south of Helena, Montana. Then there's Dover, then there's Denver, Colorado, over Boise, Idaho.
Yeah. This one was like a play on the state names, and it was I got trying to remember some of the what did Delaware boys, or what did Delaware? Oh, what did Delaware boys, or what did Delaware? Oh, what did Delaware boys, or what did Delaware? I'm asking again, as I'm telling you, as a personal friend, what did Della wear? And then the reply was, she wore a New Jersey, boy. She wore a new. And then they go on to different. And like, how did Florida die or Flora die? She died in misery, boy. She died in misery. You know, that's kind of the premise of the song from back in the day.
It's
like that.
It's what they call a mnemonic device.
Yes.
It's a Modern Family reference. It's mnemonic device.
So that was the other
I think
song.
I remembered it.
There was one about frogs. I'm trying. What was the
splat?
It
Went
was
the little
some-
green
yeah,
frog.
it was
one day.
something-
Splat went the little green frog. Yeah.
It was something about that. I can't remember. Yeah, these are all camp songs.
Yeah. Just
We did
different
one
ones.
to,
Do you remember? Of course, Comet.
Yeah,
that was always a big one. You know,
we did a
camped.
weird one that was sung to All Lang Syne, or no, Pomp and Circumstance, not All Lang Syne, Pomp and Circumstance, and it was my reindeer fly sideways, your reindeer flies upside down. My reindeer flies sideways, your reindeer is dead. That's the song.
Your reindeer is dead.
We used to do the happy birthday thing. It was like, happy birthday, sin and sorrow and despair, people dying everywhere. Oh, happy birthday. That was our birthday song.
Filler.
It's 10 o'clock.
Yep.
We got to go. If you missed any part of the show,
Especially
including
that last part, you
that
go back
ditty
and-
at the end where I'm singing them songs, check it out at your leisure, ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winter's channel. You'll find it all there. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of it. We'll talk to you bright and early. See you. 7 a.m. tomorrow. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Take care, everybody.
Breaking news this hour from town.